Welcome, everybody, to the Sorcery. We're at the part 2, completing it out here. Eh, eh, there we are. See, here I am. I'm ready to continue my journey through Care. We are back at the City of Traps, and we are approaching now to the fork in the road. I guess as a general recap from last time, see this left part of the town? We ran all over the place. We talked to people. We bought some items. We went down into the sewers where we almost drowned. We popped out, and now here we are at the other side of the river with the north gate here as our goal. We want to leave, but we've heard rumors and tells that this gate is locked by a magic spell. So we have to figure out what that is in order to leave. So, let's go. At least the gross sewer water washed off the fleas you picked up. Yeah, that was one bonus. We had gotten some flea ride-alongs, and they've all been whisked away by the waters. So here we are. The early morning sun is beginning to wake the streets of Care. A few creatures roam this way and that. In one corner, a spring bubbles with fresh water. I've only got 12 out of 20 stamina. I'm gonna drink out of the fountain. Get some stamina recovered. 17 now. You cup your hand to the water and drink a mouthful. It is fresh and invigorating. And so I look around. Looking left, the road heads into the residential area that seems well cared for. A short way off to the right is an open plaza. Why don't we ask for some directions around here? I've been doing that a lot, been talking to people all the time, and by and large, that has not been a bad thing. You stop a passing creature. Excuse me, I need to ask you. The creature's head is bowed and it doesn't look up, but it pulls itself free and hurries away. It is too miserable to speak. Oh, there's nothing for it. You'll have to explore for yourself. They're too sad over here to help me out. I feel like we should be aiming to look for a beggar person. For the purpose, we do have our one clue saying that we had Lord Theta is a beggar, and I feel like the beggars are more going to be hanging around plaza area than residential area. So let's go down. We turn right. You turn right, heading away from the city wall. A sign points towards Fireview Square. You pass large houses that have the aspect of official places of business. One is marked with the clawed fist of a money lender. An elven woman is just leaving. She looks quite worn out already, this early in the morning. Oh, Baldir heading off to make dinner. Very good. I hope dinner is delicious. You know, you never report back how good your dinners are, Baldir. You could leave and be eating the worst dinner you've ever had in your life, and we would never know. Because you never say, hey guys, last time dinner was amazing. And it was a good time. And hello there, Twitchy, and welcome to the stream. That's right, we're gonna start needing some dinner reports from you, Baldir. You stop the woman with a gesture. She looks up at you in some surprise. I feel like we should probably start with being polite and ask them how they're actually doing. Here, she's come out, she's not looking too good. You seem distraught. She looks at you, her narrow eyes wide. Oh, stranger, she moans. You have no idea. I ask her how she's doing, and she's like, not very good. And then I'm like, don't care. You should always be prepared if you ask someone how they're doing to receive the answer, no, I'm not doing very great. Because otherwise, it just kind of seems like an asshole move to be asking how you're doing. And then say, doing bad, yeah, I don't give a shit. Maybe just don't ask them how you're doing if you're not prepared for a negative response. The moneylenders have not been generous, you suggest. The woman laughs. When are they ever generous? But today they have been cruel. She wipes her eyes with a ragged cuff. But no matter. Should not have expected any different. But what of you, stranger? You do not look like a carrion to me. Well, that's true. I am a traveler, so if I did happen to look like a carrion, I would somewhat question what does a carrion even look like. Honestly, just straight up, what does a carrion even look like? I am a traveler, you say. Oh, is that so? She replies, then maybe. She wipes a tear from her eye. Maybe you'll need a guide. She's probably gonna ask for a monetary return. She'd be like, hey, you pay me this gold amount? I'll be your tour guide. And hello there, chicken peasant, and welcome to the stream. What? Honestly, since we're at this second part of town, having a guide sounds like it would be nice. She smiles, the first true happy smile. First true smile you have seen on her face. Oh, very good, stranger. I'll be happy to help you, if I can, for a fee. Where do you want to go? Hopefully she's not going to ask me for more than 14 gold, because then I wouldn't be able to afford it. Now, I don't want to go straight to the North Gate either, as we don't have, I don't think, any of the spell to get through it. So let's go ahead and ask about that blind beggar, the only noble we've gotten any information about. I need to find a blind beggar, you tell her, one who was once a noble. She muses. I know the one, I believe. He inhabits the wasteland near here. She nods. The Fallen Quarter. That is very easy to find if you can avoid the traps. She nods, clearly pleased. She nods. Yes. I know where to find that. I'm able to help out. Oh. She's very excited. 14 gold for advice. She's basically becomes extorting me here. Here I could say, all right, how much are you going to charge me for this to take me over there? Or instead I do a reversal. Oh, you know where exactly? Take me there or I will kill you. Here I was pretending to be nice the entire time, and then I just swapped to threats. Always such drastic choices. Why stay in the median when you can do, like, extremes on either side? How much do you charge? She sizes you up for a moment. 4 gold pieces. Is she trying to decide how likely I am to overpower her and be like, give me this tour for free? You've become unhinged. 2021 is now. We just straight pay her. We're not very far from being able to get out of the city, and I feel like once we would leave Care, we wouldn't have as much need for gold, or we would start hoarding up wealth again from all of the crazy adventures we'd get from being out in the wilds again. I pay her. You count out 4 gold pieces. She smiles. Very well then. She gestures down the street. Okay, if she's gonna tour me along here, I would like to know her name, because then we can actually properly refer to her, eh? Before we begin, you say, tell me your name. You can call me Mish, she nods. Good to meet you, stranger. This way. She heads off along the street. Alright, we follow along Mish over to the square. Miss Mish. That's not very far from Miss Mash. The alley gets wider, and passing along a long building on the left, which seems to be full of children. An orphanage, Mish tells you, full of ne'er-do-wells. An orphanage full of villainous thief children? On the step, a lanky man sits with his eyes firmly closed. I greet him. I see man on steps, and then the need to talk fills me, and I just start making a beeline right over for him. You go over to the man to greet him, but your guide grabs your arm. Don't, she hisses. Just trust me. I don't want to see you get hurt. Well, since I've opted to have Miss Mish as my tour guide, I might as well do as she says. I'm paying 4 gold for her. Just follow. You thank her for her advice and keep moving. Your guide is already a few steps ahead. Kill Mish? I'm not gonna kill her already. I've paid 4 gold pieces. That would essentially just be throwing 4 gold into the wind. Wait, I guess, actually, if I paid her and I killed her, that would just mean I would get a refund on my money, because then I would just pick it back up. It's not like she ate the gold or something. Even then, I could technically chop open her stomach and just take the gold out that way. You follow the woman down a road between large houses until it enters a wide square. Odd-looking creatures mill about, going about their business. Several are clustered in a crowd around a monument of some kind. See that? Mish says, pointing. That's one of the great treasures of Care. If you step inside, you are granted a vision of the whole city from above, so you can see where you need to go. What? That's pretty sweet. Does it cost much? Looking at this picture, if this is what she's referring to, there's a long line in order to get in there. Mish is wrong, and you rolled a 1 on that, huh? Well, sounds like Mish is 100% trustable if you just rolled a 1 on that. So, Mish is definitely correct. On the other side of the square, the main road continues on through a low arch. 1,000 other alleyways lead off in all directions into Upper Care. Oh my goodness, okay. We've got a lot to look at right here, and I might as well spend the time looking around. Let's start by looking at the creatures. Creatures push and knock into you as they make their way across the plaza, despite there being plenty of space. None of them seem to be looking where they are going. There is something strange about them in general. Their bodies are all spindly, their faces long with downturned mouths. In fact, their eyes all seem to be closed. Your guide looks around, anxious to move on. The guy who was sitting on the steps of that building too, he also had his eyes closed. The person we tried to talk to didn't respond to us either. Is something going on around here? I wave my hand in front of the creature's face. There is no response. Miss shrieks, "Are you trying to get yourself killed? Don't do that!" A peddler with a tray around his neck walks past you in the square. Anklewort, Blimberry, poultice of no reed. Are all of these people just all on drugs, maybe? I'm gonna ask my guide about the monument. Tell me more about the monument, you ask your guide. The woman shrugs. You should look for yourself. My guide is like, don't interact with anybody. Also, if you want to know more of that monument, figure it out on your own. See ya. Okay, very well. I'm gonna go check it out then. You approach the crowd around the monument, your guide in tow, which is so thick it is hard to see inside. Here, says one of the creatures, whom you elbow aside. Be careful. Oh, Sorry, creature. I guess all of the creatures here aren't hypnotized, drugged up, because they responded no problem. I apologize, and the creature huffs and moves away through the crowd. Clambering up the steps of the monument, you finally get to see inside. But the monument seems to be empty? There's just a circular rug that fills the floor space. The crowd murmur and whisper. Clearly you paid them to follow you and yell at you. It's more of a moral guide than a sightseeing guide. Here I have asked my guide for help and she's like, all right, but actually I'm just here to help you make moral decisions. Surprise, I'm like your conscience. Like I can flip a coin in here. I'm like peeking in, looking around, not seeing a whole lot. Why don't I just throw a coin? It's like a wishing well, right? Whooshing. Huh. There's nothing here. Your elven guide shrugs. Step inside and take a look properly. The crowd are clustered around the monument as though expecting the rug inside to move. Well, you told me to do so. Very well. I step inside. Hello, by the way, Steven, and welcome to the stream. I'll try it, you tell your guide, and then you step into the monument. But just as your foot is about to touch the circular rug, there's nothing there. You have a moment to curse your treacherous guide, and then you are falling. Did we actually just legitimately get tricked by that guide person? Holy shit. I suppose we went into the monument and she's like, you know, this is a way where I can totally get 4 gold pieces off of this person and, you know, not have to deal with them and continue guiding them. I didn't mind being a guide for them, but them falling down, it's not a problem for me either. So she could have been completely earnest and those could have been totally real, not crocodile tears. But hey, 4 gold is 4 gold, and if she doesn't have to continue touring me, not a problem for her. You're floating slowly down through the air, turning over and over. You are in pitch blackness. You cannot see a thing. Then a spot of light appears. It grows wider and wider until finally you emerge to a fate that is nearly worse than death in a sewer again. You know, maybe I should have started getting a little bit suspicious when she referred to the orphans, the children inside an orphanage, as ne'er-do-wells. Maybe that should have been a tip. You have landed in a disgusting pile of unbelievable filth. Slime, excrement, sludge, dung, and dregs. All the way up to your neck. Very good. You are evidently in the sewers of care. Once again, lost in the muck. Drink sludge, non-option. I wait. You wait a moment as a nearby chute ejects a torrent of filth and pig swill. Then you get yourself to your feet and wipe off the sludge as best you can. If I had just gotten straight up, would that chute just cover me in the filth? Because, then I guess my head would have been covered too. Well, where am I? You stand in a cavernous sewer tunnel, filled knee-deep with slow-flowing, stench-filled water. It is pitch black. You could be standing on a mountaintop or inside a coffin, except that is for a single speck of light somewhere in the far distance. I feel like I should generally be very cautious here, and unfortunately it seems we're going to be getting in a fight. You wait, and within a few moments the tunnel is filled with goblins. There are not 1 or 2, but a whole army, led by a tall, stocky elder goblin, and chanting a weird guttural song. They pause a short distance away from you, and the leader steps forward. You should not be here, the goblin declares. This is the domain of the Mad King, and us. How convenient that it's goblins now. You commented that you haven't been able to really use Caco Goblin? Here's your opportunity. Goblins mean Caco Goblin. How big is his staff? Good question. We'd have to ask him. I feel like we're going to begin with talking. As has been most of the case, we don't go straight to battle. We talk first. All right, fine then. Take me to the king, you demand. The goblin laughs. Certainly, we will drag your corpse to his feet. He gestures behind him, and one of his warriors steps up, grinning and drawing a long, hooked blade. All right then, goblin. I'm gonna start by casting a spell. There's a lot of goblins. What do you think would happen if we cast our mud spell? You know, draw him out into the quicksand. Oh, well, shit. I attempted to toss that down and cast a spell, but I cannot act quickly enough and the water washes the sand away. Maybe I should have considered that fact, you know, down in the sewer. Maybe I shouldn't throw sand at the ground. I hope that doesn't make me lose the sand I had. Because I think it did. I don't have a vial anymore, or I don't see a vial in my other items or magical items, so that's kind of shitting. Alright. Center, re-enter fight, please. Thank you. Can always rewind if it's that big of an issue. Well, that's true. But I've already chosen it. So let's go ahead and just stab Goblin. Wow. Weak. The Goblin charges for you. You set your stance in Russian, and I stab him. Deep injury. He shows his teeth and hisses. I stab him again. Ooh, good. Oh, I even killed him. Oh my god, I'm too powerful. 2 moves and he's dead. Fuck that goblin. Following it, you charge forward and drive your sword into its neck. You have defeated the goblin. No stamina lost. Flawless fighting. I continue. The goblin leader laughs. He gestures another of his minions to face you. We're gonna cast a spell again. Perhaps I should power myself up, or even I could throw, because the problem here is that there are a shit ton of goblins, right? So we want to use a spell that's going to make it easier to fight all of these goblins. So what would be helpful for us? It seems like hot is an option. So what if we set all the goblins on fire? You cast the spell, creating a fireball that you fling at the nearest goblin. It evaporates in a cloud of smoke. The goblin leader frowns. He is starting to get angry. He motions one more of the goblin into battle. I cast another spell. We have so many options. The goblins, I imagine... Oh, well. I was hoping I could muddle their minds. Opt for dim. But that's not an option. We've got you and O. Dumb would make them clumsy. That's an option. We have does as the other spell, which makes them slow. We'll try making them slow then. You cast your spell over the approaching goblin and its movements begin to slow down until it is creeping through the water towards you. You rush forward and skewer it with ease. The first signs of genuine fear are showing on the goblin leader's face. He instructs one more of his soldiers to draw its sword. Time for another spell! These goblins are pathetic. What else can we do? Here's a G. I think all of the G spells, O and A, are ones that require items. And not items that I own either, so we don't want to go there. What do we have? Pop! Ooh. I've had these fucking pebbles so long, we're gonna fucking throw one at them. Here we go. I'm exploding the goblins. You cast the spell over a pebble and hurl the approaching creature. It explodes in a burst of acrid flame. Enough! The goblin leader cries. You waste my time and my soldiers. Go in peace. And with that, he waves his army on. They march off into the tunnel. Alright, we're just gonna continue on. Silently and smugly to ourselves, we think, our wizarding skills are too good. We only had to actually fight one of them in battle. We let them go. There are so many goblins that it takes several minutes for them all to pass by. Clearly, they could have had your neck if they had so chosen. You have been lucky. At the rear are 2 goblin generals. How many more soldiers does the Mad King want? The first asks the second as they pass your position. Thousands, the second replies, then spits. But he'll get what he gets. That he will, the first agrees, testing his blade on his thumb. The 2 walk on, still talking in muttering voices. Are they slowly changing all the people up above into army soldiers for themselves? We make a move. The goblins are tramping away up the sewer. Alright, it says we have a clue. Let me peek at that clue. The goblin army? In the tunnels under care, an army of goblins are massing for attack. Oh. You know, it's funny, because do you recall when we were back outside earlier on? When, I don't even remember his name, I think it might have been Thomas? That sort of crazy-seeming guard guy, beggar guard guy. He was keeping an eye out for goblins. And what do we find in the sewers down here? A shit ton of goblins. We've also got Lord Theta is in the ruins. Oh? Lord Theta can be found blind and begging in the ruins of the fallen quarter of the city. That's right, that's what the lady told us. Thomas, I think, yeah, so I will be right. We could follow the goblins, or we could head the other way. If we head the other way, we would be able to get out from this well, it appears. If we follow the goblins, we can get out over here. Maybe I follow the goblins. You trail along behind the goblins like a shadow. The Bachlan tribes are ready? The first goblin general hisses. The second goblin makes a chittering noise, something close to a laugh. Ready to run through the city like a river of molten steel at a word from the king. Few words, the first goblin replies, but I have learnt a few myself. Ear, one hisses, stopping suddenly and cocking an ear. What was that? Uh-oh. I freeze. Don't move. Don't make any sounds. We be quiet. You freeze. The goblins keep walking, away out of earshot, not stopping. They do not look around, but continue talking in low voices. Okay, now we catch up to them. Hurry to catch up with the goblins. We reach a corner. The tunnel turns a corner. Something glints from the side of the sewer. I look at the glint. Ooh. It is a vial of potion. I lose the sight of the goblins. That's not really a loss because there was only a singular path. So I don't think I would actually lose sight of them in the end. Just hurry along a little bit more. Catch back up. No problem. I sniff at the vial. And hello there, Faux Romano, and welcome to the stream. You uncork it and take a sniff. Ooh, blimberry. I might as well just drink it right now. I've got, what, fucking 4 bottles of this potion? And I'm at 13 out of 20 stamina. That's half. I might as well drink it now. Ah, here we go. Ah, you unstopper the blimberry potion and gulp down a mouthful. You feel a little better, and all traces of hunger are also gone. The goblins disappear around the corner of the sewer. Alright, I catch up with them again. You are back in earshot of the goblins. You know one of the lines? One goblin is quizzing the other. The goblin spits in agreement. I overheard the Mad King whisper it to himself. His voice drops for a moment, and you only hear the second half of what he says. And Forge's pride. Just then, you see more lights up ahead. It seems the sewer is opening out into a wider space. Let me peek at my notes here. Here's half of a spell line by Forge's pride. If I go over and peek back at not that guy, the scratched poem. Because here it has Kruja's grace, the pride sounds like it would pair very strongly with this. So honestly, this poem from the sewers, I almost wonder if maybe that is the full spell for the gate, but it's missing sections of it. Alright, I continue along. Alright, at the opening, peering through, you see a huge chamber, like an underground cathedral. Water pours in through narrow channels and openings high in the walls, and several wooden ladders disappear upwards. But your eyes are taken by the center of the room. It is filled with goblins, like a ship's hold filled with rats. They swarm around one another, clashing swords and baring teeth. In the middle of them all, on an improvised throne, sits a man, hunched low. He wears a metal circlet on his head. A metal circlet, eh? You know, I'm looking along here at my list of spells. I had felt like one of the spells required a crown to be worn and it would do something, but perhaps I'm mistaken, because I don't see any, aside from the skull cap, anything that relates to any headgear item. Other than, you know, the fucking wig, but that's not the same. And hello there to you also, Kitty. Welcome. Alright. I like every time I've gotten to one of these little sections, it's like,
hey, are you sure you want to just turn around and go back? Do you really want to continue forward? You could always turn around and leave. It's always an option. Every time, it's an option.
No, I pressed forward. We came this far now, didn't we? You slip into the hall. It is warm with the fetid breath of 1,000 creatures, who drink and laugh and clash swords down in the muck. On his throne, their king seems to be sleeping, or else they have killed him by accident. He is a man, not a goblin. How does he control this rabble? I look at the goblins. The goblin rabble are an army of the worst kind. Fractious, vicious, and with nothing to lose. The king coughs suddenly. The effect is bizarre. At the noise, every goblin in the great chamber freezes and looks up. We better be extremely careful about making any sort of sound, because make the tiniest little crack, and just every goblin is going to be like,
what was that?
And then all eyes will be on us. And hello there to you too, unlucky chip. Welcome. I look at the man. The man is thin, as if he has not eaten in months, and pale, as if he has been in the dark just as long. His hair is long and gray, and he slumps over the side of his throne, as though desperately ill. His clothes are long, soiled robes that perhaps were once quite fine. On his head he wears a great circlet of a dull silver metal you cannot quite place. The king pushes on the arm of the chair, attempting to stand, then shivers and falls down. "Silence," he whispers. The chamber is suddenly quiet. Let's wait for a moment. Seeing as he's very quiet here, we don't want to make any sort of sound. That's why we want to be particularly careful with making a move. Because if we make a bad choice of when to start walking or moving at all, you might catch me. You wait transfixed by the strange scene. The king fingers the circlet on his head, as if scared it will slip. "My creatures," he whispers, "the time is almost on us. As the night draws in, we will rise up and open the gates. We will rub this filthy city clean." He is broken off into a fit of coughing. Sewer King leads goblins to take over Filthy City. I feel like if a bunch of goblins from the sewers came out, they would just bring all of this terrible sewer filth with them. So they might clean it up of whatever creatures are up there, but they're also gonna make it all messy. Oh my god, the sewer goblins are like soap. They come up, all of them are armed with soap bars. Rubbing this filthy city clean, they mean literally taking soaps and cleaning it up. They don't mean killing people. They want to actually make it nice and clean and sparkling. Like how on Roller Coaster Tycoon, I was getting an award for the tidiest park in the country. Here, Care is soon going to get the award for tidiest city in the country instead. Like a big community service event. Exactly. Now we look at the circlet. You shift your position in the darkness to try and get a better view of the king's strange circlet. You cannot place the material. It does not seem to be iron or the steel of a blade, but it is not precious either. Yet the king treats it gingerly, as though it were made of glass. "The long journey is nearly over," declares the king, raving with madness. "The process I began when I blinded Lord Theta and left him a beggar. Finally, the council will be destroyed, and the city will be cleansed." I continue to wait and listen. You keep waiting, wanting to see what comes next. A goblin close by your elbow murmurs, "How much longer do we have to listen to this?" They just want to go up and kill people. They don't want to hear the king giving some stupid speech. His companion silences him with a talon to the arm. I continue listening. You stay hidden and wait. The king finally gets to his feet and raises a wizened arm to the air. "I will open the gates for you tonight," he cries, "and we will make this city pure." The king raises a cheer, and the goblins as one cheer back, throwing their swords up in the air. 1,000 blades flash, and the confusion when they land is extreme. Every goblin cowering for cover, and then squabbling to retrieve their blade. They all toss their swords up into the air, and they're all like, "Wah-ha-ha!" And then they all fall down to the ground, all of the, crashing you're hearing as they're all falling, and they're all like, "Oh no, oh my god!" And they're all cowering and hiding away here. And then they're like, "Wait, oh, that was just us! Oh, and then they just reach down and start gathering up their swords again. But seeing as there's a ton of confusion right now, perhaps now is the good time to make a move. Unless making a move means leaving, I suppose. I thought... Wait. Making a move can either be returning to the sewer or creeping over to a ladder. Clearly, we creep. Sticking to the shadows, you begin to creep around the perimeter of the hall, aiming for one of the long ladders that disappears up into darkness. You get about halfway before the goblins nearby turn, pushing at each other. You are forced to freeze. The king calls for silence, but the goblins do not hear him. They're still in a mess with their swords. Oh, those silly goblins. Seeing as the goblins are still messing around with all of their swords, perhaps I am still able to continue my move onward. Continue creeping to the ladder. You creep further around the edge of the hall. The king calls again for silence, clutching his circlet with one hand. This time, the goblins fall silent. You realize with a heavy heart that you have missed the best opportunity you will get to escape the chamber by the ladder. If I had been just a little bit further into the chamber, it's possible I would have managed to make it, but I took too long. So now we're going to have to wait and listen some more because everybody's quiet. You stay hidden and wait. The goblins cruise and celebrate. The room is becoming unbearably hot and fetid. Time to go. If they're all celebrating currently, I feel like it's probably... Oh. Hang on. No. Creep to the ladder. If it's forcing me to go backwards, I'm staying and waiting and listening. You stay hidden and wait. The goblin celebrations are turning into a fight. You'll be caught in the middle of it if you can't get out of the way. I didn't actually mean to... I meant to make a move, but I accidentally clicked to wait. You stay hidden and wait. Around you, a group of goblins are attacking each other with picks and swords. One is thrown backwards, landing on top of you and brings down a blade. And then it hits you inside, and I've accidentally died. Oops. Wonder if I just can straight up make a move. Or if it's still going to continue to force me backwards, because that's kind of annoying. I'm going... Because I would... Whoops! That is way farther back. Alright, we've slipped inside. We look at the man. We'll look at the circlet. We'll look at the goblins. He is broken off into a fit of coughing. We start creeping. Seeing as he's talking now and they're being a little bit noisy, we're gonna wait. And then we'll make a move, perhaps. It might be a little bit early. I might need to give it another moment. No, now this is the part where they're tossing their blades up and going wild. So we're going to continue moving along. Making it to the ladder. Messing around with the swords. We continue to make our move and we climb the ladder. Taking advantage of the confusion, you scurry quickly up the ladder. For a few rungs, you are in the open and must look like a strange, oversized rat climbing the rigging in this underground cell. But you climb fast and quietly and are quickly lost into the shadows overhead once more. And so we go up the ladder. You climb the ladder into a narrow stone chimney, which climbs at angle. After a while, the ladder gives out, and there's nothing but stone above you, and in the distance, a circle of light. For a second, when it phrases it as, the ladder gives out, like it breaks, just as I'm climbing it, for a second I thought that was going to be what happens. Unless that is saying what's happening, because I have climb and cast a spell. What kind of spell would I even want to cast right here? Let me see what my options are. We've got G, R, F. R, A, Z makes it so I can sharpen my blade. I don't have any beeswax, so I can't do that, so it doesn't matter. And with F, O, F, that'd be creating a force field. That could be potentially useful, you know? We pop out, and then people start shooting us with arrows. Oh, we've got a force field, no worries. My back gives out. Cast a spell. Cast Featherfall so we don't just die landing on our back, ruining it even more. Is there a purpose to floating in the air? Am I falling again? Is that the problem? I'm not entirely sure what's happening, and I think that's part of my qualm with what spell I should cast. Is not quite following what's going on. And again, I don't have gum. Yeah, I don't have any glue, so I can't do this. Are you floating or falling? With the fall spell, it's that feather fall, I think. Stone above you, in the distance, a circle of light. Let's just go ahead and cast the feather fall and see what happens with that. You cast the spell, making your body featherweight. You then paw your way up the stone chimney, pushing off the walls with your hands and feet, as if you were dancing up towards the light. You emerge in a grateful heap to the fresh air of the outside world. You know, there you go. We just made ourselves super light. So the ladder was going to break, perhaps, but because we made ourselves very light, it made it so the ladder was all fine. So now we're back just outside in care. Oh wow, holy shit. Oh, uh-oh. I've accidentally snapped the camera away from ourselves, popping out next to the north gate. Whoops. You have emerged from a well house and a clearing in the shadow of the city wall. Looking around you, you realize how far you have come. On the other side of this clearing is the north gate itself. The ground before it is wide and clear, and lit by blazing torches set into brackets either side of the enormous sealed doors. Should there be archers hiding in the shadows, they would have a clear sight on you. You don't know any of the spell lines, of course, but perhaps the gate will open to a dot spell after all? No, I don't think it will. Not if it's all magic. Let's maybe give it a minute. You wait in the shadows and watch. If the guards are patrolling, you should be able to learn their patterns. But strangely, there seems to be no guards here at all. Perhaps the gate is locked. No one bothers to guard it anymore? Or what if all of those guards are all hypnotized like the rest of the people over in town? We stride over to the gate. Throwing caution to the wind, you step out of the shadows and approach the gate. Time to see how good your lockpick skills really are. I'm sure I could have cast a spell to help me out right here that isn't just a dap, but oh well, I just walk right up to the gate. You reach the other side of the clearing unscathed and stand below the enormous doors. Force open the doors, recite the spell, cast a spell. I force open the doors. You haul at the door. The gate does not even rattle. You hear a scrabbling noise in the distance. What if we try to recite the spell? You knock firmly on the door. When there's no response, you call out, "I am here to open this gate." There is no response. You begin to wonder if you've been tricked. If there is no gate here at all, and this is simply an illusion, painted across a solid stone wall. Suddenly, you are not alone. A phantom voice issues from the wood itself. "Halt, stranger!" it booms. Do you know the spell which controls the gate? I kind of do. I do. Kind of. Perhaps you can bluff your way through not knowing any of the lines. Then I await your command. The voice booms. From across the clearing you hear a scrabbling sound of metal on stone. But there's no time for that now. Open sesame! You span back and see what effect your lines have had. The voice has gone silent. I wait. You wait impatiently to see what will happen, then the voice booms out, incorrect. The door is sealed. There is no time for another guess. From behind you comes the sound of feet and swords. You turn, expecting to see the guard, but instead a horde of goblins has appeared as if from nowhere and is charging across the dust towards you. It seems the army from the sewers has finally come up to the fight. Sorcery 2? Is this some kind of cooking game? Yes. I cook up words. And they create spells. And I cast them. And hello there, Mortis. And welcome to the stream. There is no time for another guess. From behind you comes the sound of feet and swords. And so here's the horde of goblins. Probably just dash into the shadows. Standing my ground would I would just get trampled by all of these goblins. I dash into the shadows. Whoop. Word soup. Ah, then it's like alphabet soup. Delicious. I cast Alfredo, only rolled a 12. Not incredibly effective, but doesn't fail either. You eat the Alfredo you just cast. The goblins pour up to the gate. Are they going to try and ram it? But then they stop, and in their midst, a small figure is being propelled forward. It is the Mad King. He is surrounded by a guard of nearly 20 goblins. I could leap out and kill him. I could be the Goblin King. Whoever this Goblin King is, he needs to be stopped. It's too bad I don't have the quicksand spell now, or that sand available, because... Wait, M isn't even an option. Never mind. I throw the thought of casting him down into quicksand out of my mind. Time for a change in management. That's right. I'm the Goblin King now. What options do we have? Hot, probably. Hang on. Oh, I was hoping it would give me the option to cast Zed. That's what I was wanting. But no, it looks like it's just going to be Zip. The speed spell. That I cannot cast because I don't have the item for it. Don't have a giant's tooth. Can't cast that. Ooh. Hell yeah, let's throw some fucking exploding pebbles at him. And especially since we learned earlier how easily spooked these goblins are when they had tossed all of their swords up in the air. You cast the spell, enchanting a pebble, which you hurl with careful aim at the figure by the gate. One moment he is there, the next he has erupted into a flash of fire and smoke. The goblins roar with anger. It seems their king was their only way to open the gate. They're beginning to try and form a ladder of their own bodies, but the wall is high and they are clumsy creatures. What else can we cast then? What other wacky things can we do? Oh my god, I would love to be able to cast Jig and just make all of the goblins forced to start dancing. Too bad I don't have a flute. I can cast Walk and give myself a shield. You can also still cast Hot and set everyone on fire. King is dead, time to party! That's what it would be like if I was able to cast Jig, yeah. Man, imagine a goblin dance party. Come on, dude. Oh, interesting. I could cast how to. I kind of want to cast hot and just set them all on fire. Here we go. You cast the spell, building a fireball in the palm with crackles and glows. Their nearby goblins see it immediately and turn towards you, rattling swords and advancing. I hurl it. Well, I kill a few of them. The others are not afraid. They raise their swords and move forward, fast and ready for your blood. I fight the goblins. Very wise decision. I'm gonna start. Oh, he defended too. The goblin paces back, quivering with terror. I attack him. Oh, man, I just barely lost to that hit. That kind of sucks. Yeah, defend that one. 1 damage. I'm gonna defend again. Aha! And he did too. And now we rush out. No, he defended me. Oh well. Yeah, I was not going to have enough power. I'm gonna have to, like, redo this fight here. You gotta go to work? Alright. Have a good day at work, comp. I got this. Rolled a 19. Oh my god. I don't know if I've got this, though. The goblin is very fearful of me. It flexes. I do huge attack on him. Look at all, you know, even though I'm losing all of my stamina, as long as it lets me consume my potions or even pray to my spirit, I'm pretty good. Well off. This should kill him. Yeah, I killed him. 8 stamina lost. Shameful. We continue. It seems like it's just going to straight continue. Every time. These goblins also have a shit ton of power overall. And now I'm just poorly planning out my attacks, getting hit by everything. Don't attack when it's just watching me, it seems. Now he's gonna attack here. I'm gonna die with 1 more hit. Since he's just still nervously watching me, I wait. He's eyeing my movements fearfully. He eyeballs me. Tracks me. Seeing as he's just very cautiously watching me, we're gonna give him small poke. And then we do big attack. Oh, what? Holy hell! I used all of my energy on that, and he was still able to beat me. Well, I succumb. We're gonna go back. Go back over to near the gate. So rather than casting, so we're gonna start the same way. I wonder though, if a different spell other than pop would work. So what if we cast hot right now? Yeah, and it did the exact same thing as the pebbles. So if instead I start by casting this fireball where they don't notice me, now what if I cast pop? If it lets me. Nope, pop's not an option still. That's unfortunate. And I know I don't want to cast hot because then they're going to see me right away. Casting how probably isn't bad though, because otherwise all the other spells it was letting me cast were all item required that I don't have the items for. You cast the spell and a calm voice enters your mind, speaking in a soft, in soft tones across the din of the sword-rattling goblins.
The only way forward is back,
says the voice.
The city must not fall.
The goblins have created a stack that reaches the top of the wall. More goblins are pouring in from outside, a whole army of marsh goblins from the Bachlands. You have stumbled upon an invasion.
Care is ours,
screams their leader, and with a clash of swords, the army begins to march down the road into the city. I'm going to pray for healing here, get a little bit of my health back. And then, what sort of spells are we able to cast firstly? Oh, see, now I'd be able to cast Mud, which I don't have anymore. Mean. Law? What's law do? Control will of the stupid. Do you think this works on goblins? You cast the spell, reaching out for the minds of a nearby goblin to take control, but the spell does not work. The goblins have enough intelligence for it to fail. Well, that's unfortunate. You stagger from the draining effects on the spell. The army marches on. There is nothing you can do to prevent them. You stand in the clearing and watch as the army pours away into the city. You hear their guttural song echoing through the night. A few minutes later, you see flames where they have torched the trees. It will take them an hour, perhaps, to pass through the necropolis into the market and the Red Quarter. City doomed. Yep, ding-dang sewer water ruining the quicksand I had. Man. As the war cry fades, you return to the gate. Perhaps you will be able to force it open? Give it enough time? Then a voice rings out. Stop. There is a better way. I'm like, what the fuck? Who's saying this? You look around but can see no one. But all around you, something is happening. The marsh goblins entering the gate have slowed down, their warmongering becoming an absurd, stately dance. Noise in the clearing dulls to a low rumble. I commanded you to stop, the voice cries, and suddenly you feel yourself held rigid. From the smoke of the torches by the gate, a figure emerges. I look at the figure. It is an old man with a long beard and deep black irised eyes. He paces through the churning goblin army to stand in the open. His legs disappear into a spectral trail. He is at least part wraith? Holy shit. Step forward, he commands, and you find yourself bidden. I approach the figure. I cannot resist his call. I have aligned 3 stars, the ghostly man declares. Vic rises tonight. The goblins show their hand tonight. But also, you are here tonight. The figure intones. My name is Lorag. I was once a scholar and a noble of the city. Later, I founded it. You founded it? Later? The city existing? And then you found? Huh? What do you mean? You founded it later? You replied, confused. Who is this crazed shade? I saw Care was falling. Sansa had lost his mind and sided with the goblins. The council was in ruins. My own life was threatened. I saw that Care needed to be saved, so I went back to remake it in a way that could be saved. And here we are now. You have been here 2 days. I have been here hundreds of years, waiting for you to bring me the spell for the gate. Uh-oh. Don't you know the spell? I changed it, Lorag replies, long ago. It has been passed down since then. Changed, lost as time. Split into 4 lines. I knew it would happen since I was given one of those lines myself, so I prepared someone to find it again for me. For this night, I prepared you. Uh-oh.
What are those spell lines for? I thought they unlocked the gate.
The spell does not open the gate. His tone is heavy and dark, like tarred timber. The spell controls it. And there are deep magics burned into the wood itself. Magics that have poisoned the city and burnt fire into the eyeballs of those who live nearby. He stares at you, his coal black eyes expressing no emotion. Deep magics I placed there to be used by you tonight. I am dead. You must act for me.
Okay, how do I find the spell lines? 'Cause I don't have them.
How can I find this magic? You ask. I traveled the city and I learned nothing. The wizard nods. The lines are known to 4 nobles. The Lord Theta is blind and living in the wastelands of Upper Care. Lord Shinva is dead, but not yet forgotten, in his mausoleum in the necropolis. Lord Molus was a follower of God Slang, and in his shrine near the docks of Lower Care you may learn his line. As for my line, I give it to you freely. Tumblers 2 sealed deep inside.
Hang on.
Yes. I look at my items, I look at my clues. Here you go. This poem is they are the lines for the spell, because he said deep inside, and that's part of this line, and the one other line piece that here is Cruz's Grace. We did hear that one song they were singing somewhere that they said at some point, one of those goblins. Pretty sure that pairs with the Cruz's Grace line. Here's some other clues that we've unlocked since. The priest at the Shrine of Slang might be able to help you find the spell lines to the gate. The shrine is located between the well and the docks in Lower Care. A man named Vic runs several businesses in the city port. Lord Mulus is one of the nobles. Shinva is dead, however there are rumors that his spirit still haunts his crypt in the Care necropolis. Lord Sanzas is the first noble of Care, and he only knows the full spell to open the north gate of the city port. And Baldir is back, ready to report the dinner findings. All right, Baldir, how was dinner prepared for your report? And apparently there's time travel antics from this guy. All right. The spell lines you have found are listed in the keys section of your inventory. Oh, hang on. Keys. I see, now I have his spell line. Tumblers 2 sealed deep inside. It's too bad I can't work out the spell for myself. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I can handle your request. Sounds kind of boring, honestly. I think I'm gonna just keep knocking on the door here. Well, I guess I will go back. We'll try to save your city. Know this, Lorag replies. To go back will weaken you. A body is only made to hold one soul. He waits for the information to sink in. If you will allow me, he says, I will bend time itself, so that you may return to the city and find the spell for the gate. So, shall you take the adventure, or will you leave Care to burn? Understand also, he adds darkly, I will curse you and the journey to follow if you do not assist me. You hesitate. Care is a city of traps, but also of secrets, and there is still more you might find. Can you afford to let the city port burn? Hey, I'm here. I've got time. Let's continue the search. You can just say no to him and continue on? Apparently so. All right, Baldir's dinner findings. It was a national dish, which consists plates of meatballs and curry with rice and a green kale salad. It was perfectly splendid. That does sound good. Other than, for me, the kale, because I don't really care much for the taste of kale. Uh-oh. A non-burner account lets the city burn. He leaves care. Doesn't care at all as it goes up in flames. Well, welcome to the stream. I guess goodbye since you're leaving the city, and here I am turning around to help it out, and seeing as I'm time traveling, looks like you gotta go. It does make sense though, indeed. Burner accounts gotta burn. He's addicted to the fire. I will help you, you tell him. The wizard nods. I thank you. All right, I prepare. He raises his arms and begins the spell. The raging goblins stand like statues. You feel yourself lifting up from your body, so you've been snatched away by birdmen. As you lift into the air, you hear Lorag cry out one last piece of advice. As you lift into the air, you hear find the lines and find the order of the lines. Found that, check mark, I know the order. Care dwindles beneath you and you feel your body growing weaker. Oh, and then it gives me numerous spots that I can go back to. Don't they say in Cali that it's a superfood? They totally do. Kale is supposed to be extremely healthy for you, but, I can eat other foods for health reasons, you know? And thank you for following, VA Gnome Magician. Appreciated. Very nice. Now, where do we want to go exactly? If I go back and look at my hints, I've only got the one spell line, so I have to talk to all of the other nobles. If we were able to find Lord Sansa, I feel like we could get the entire spell at once, but... So we have Lord Theta is in the ruins of the Fallen Quarter. Shinva is in the Necropolis. Mulaz is, just it says one of the nobles. The one, the Shrine of Slang is here. The priest at the Shrine of Slang might be able to help you find the spell line to the gate. The shrine is located between the well and the docks in Lower Care. I think it sounds like everybody is just hanging out in Care. This side of the Care area. If I look around, are there any map labels? Because I'm assuming here that this area is Lower Care. And because I'm hoping I'm not interpreting it as, or that it isn't the case that this right side is Upper Care and this left half is Lower Care. Because I don't know how far back we'd need to go. It did say one person was in the Red Quarter, yes? The blind noble Theta? No, he's in the Fallen Quarter. Was somebody in the Red Quarter? I wonder if we could have even gotten the spell from the Mad King before we had popped him. Yeah, there's ritual, porter traps, goblin army. Okay. I'm trying going through one more time, double checking very quickly, do I need to go to the Red Quarter at all? Gorgeous Prime, Red Quarter, Scratch Swamp will not help. That does not. None of these were. Or nobles. Okay. Did you say goblin army? Yes, there's a goblin army that wants to destroy Care. This will take you back in time to continue your search for the spell lines from Fireview Square. This is where I'm thrown off, seeing as this one marks it as Upper Care. So I'm concerned that this right side's Upper Care, and if I go over there, we'll never get any lines from the Lower Care area. Well, I suppose I'm going to go ahead and start from the Fireview Square. Let's go. Let's go ahead and have my guide lead us on. Avoiding the monument this time. I don't know nothing about no goblin army, but I am a licensed door and chair repairman. Well, unfortunately, that's a magic door over there, so unless you're also licensed in magics, you're not going to be able to help me out at all. You gesture for your guide to lead the way. Through here, she says, waving towards the arch at the far side of the square. Are you sure? The woman smiles. Of course I'm sure. Do you want to find the beggar or don't you? Honestly, I'm not really trusting her, seeing as she descended me down into the depths because I want to go check out that monument. She shrugs. Well, I can't really guide you if you don't, can I? So if you won't follow me, I'll be going. Well, I say goodbye. And then she just books it away. I look through the arch. Ooh, hang on. Now, because the guide's gone, I'm able to talk to this herbalist. Yo, dude. What do you got to tell me about those items you've got? In fact, actually, I'd like just some straight advice. I need advice, you reply, not a poultice. The herbalist shrugs weakly. I only have poultices, salves and ointments. Well, I need to find a man called Theta. The herbalist shrugs. I don't know him. Can I interest you in something else? He digs around on his tray. A mustic ointment made from pure mustic. What does it do? It's a powerful hypnotic. He replies. It can make you believe almost anything. He holds it out for you to smell. I don't smell it. That sounds like a bad idea. You lean away, careful not to inhale from the salves. He smiles and takes a deep breath himself, sighing happily. I look at my amount of gold. I feel like at least I shouldn't have to sleep at all anymore, so don't need any money to purchase inn rooms? How much does it cost? 4 gold. Oh. I don't want it. I think I'm just going to continue. What else do you have? Bloomberry salve, made from the finest bloomberries. Don't need that. I've got plenty of bloomberry potions. Ah, here you go. Essence of bark, which is good for sore throats. I've already got that, so keep that in mind. Apparently, essence of bark is useful for a sore throat. Don't want it. And so then he leaves. There's a fruit vendor? What? The herbalist shrugs. Then you're my worst customer ever. Have a good day. And he leaves. Apparently, I'm the only person ever to not buy any of his herbs or salves or anything. At least they were cordial, it's true. Let's go ahead and look at the creatures. We'll wave in front of a creature's face. I pick one of their pockets. And then I move quickly away. I've made my money back. I look at the creatures again. The thoughts of gold raining in my mind. I pick out another mark. Fingers are on my gold pouch when he suddenly whistles. You look up to see the creature's closed eyes turning towards you. I stay silent, holding my breath so the creature cannot find you, but the ruse doesn't seem to work. Something happens. It is too fast to tell exactly what, and suddenly you have a weeping burn down the length of your sword arm. Ow! I run. You turn and run, but despite putting several strides between you and the creature, there is a searing pain, and then a second burn lances across your back, and I fall. Take him away. It grumbles, hands grab your arms, and haul you roughly through the dust. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm in prison now. And they threw me right on top of another creature. I greet the creature. I check my inventory real fast. Still have items. Okay. I don't need to rewind. I just want to zoom back in. That's my favorite story arc. Me in prison! It's true. Truly, the prison arcs are the most exciting. Yeehaw! You pick yourself to your feet and dust yourself down. Apologies, friend, you say to your cellmate. It is an elven, like those you met in the Shamutanti Hills, but he seems worn out and exhausted. The creature nods to you. Welcome to my little world, he replies. Who are you? My name on the outside hardly seems to matter, the elven replies with a smile. My name in here is number 6, and that'll be your name too. He points a bony finger. It's written on the door. See? From the sounds coming through the walls, this is one of several cells, all side by side. You hear snores, shouts, and screams coming through the stonework. You're an elven, you say. I've met your kind before. I have the freedom of your village in the hills. He shrugs. If you go back, they'll try to rob you, he says. But that's not what they locked me up for. The cell is empty, except for a bucket. Murmuring an apology, the elven uses it for what it is for. It's a shit bucket. I'm gonna use it for the bathroom. I look away and I ask, what is this place? This is the jail of the Red Eyes, the elven says. There's one outside. He points at the guard whose face, with eyes closed, fills the tiny porthole. Why are you here then? You know, the elven replies. The elven replies with a sigh of some passion. I've asked myself that every night since I was arrested months ago, and I still can't figure it out. I didn't do anything to upset these people. My only idea is that the Red Eyes aren't happy unless they've got someone locked away. He smiles thinly. Maybe now that you're here, they'll let me go. Do you think so? No. I don't. You just kind of hoped for it. The smell from the bucket in the corner of the room is quite terrible. I pinch my nose. It's getting kind of stinky in here. How can we escape? You ask. Escape? If there was a way to escape, do you think I would be here? You think I haven't tried? I'm an elven. We're not known for sitting still. And it's true. Even as he talks to you, he's constantly fidgeting. I should probably... Oh my god, I didn't realize my stamina was out of 19 now. Ow. Probably for when I got burned in that square, huh? Let's go ahead and pray for aid. That way... Oh. You raise a prayer to the ape, and as you finish, there's a tiny click. The sound of a locked tumbler falling over. The elven's narrow eyes open wide as portholes. Wait until the guard outside has turned his back, then slide the door open. He will not be looking the other way for long. Fucking, I'm like, psst.
Hey, ape, can you help me out here, please?
And the ape's like, I got you covered. Pshoo! And then just click. Door unlocks. I could have done that myself, seeing as I have that magic spell for unlocking locks. But hey, if the ape's willing to help me out, I'm not gonna complain. Now, I could just straight kill guard, but I'm gonna grab this bucket, cause come on. Poo bucket, hello. I can use this. Moving silently, you pick up the bucket from the floor of the cell. The elven looks at you curiously, but says nothing. I put bucket on guard head. You raise the bucket nice and high, creeping forward on tiptoes. Then at the last possible moment, you bring it quickly down over the guard's head. Unmentionable substances trickle down his face, but for a moment he cannot see. I drag him into the cell, and between you grab the guard's arms and drag him backwards into the cell. Ha! Excellent! Hisses the elven. Now we need to get out of this place. He rushes towards the door. I search the guard. You search the guard and recover the key to the cell, along with a couple of gold pieces. Good idea. If I had just left the cell and locked the door, the guard would have gotten up and been like, fucking idiots. And then he just pulls out his keys and lets himself out. Come on. Imagine trying to cage somebody and they have the keys for the cage still. It's not very good planning, huh? So I also stole 2 gold from him. So, quickly, hisses the elven from the doorway. You dive out into the corridor and slam the door behind you, locking it behind me. Moving quickly, you lock the cell door with the copper key. Run for it! The elven cries, and he's right. Inside the cell, the guard has got the bucket off his head and has moved to the window. You hurtle around a corner just as a beam of fire explodes off the wall behind you. You hear him rattling the door to the cell, but it seems he cannot open it. 'Cause I locked it! You race up a set of stairs heading towards a patch of sunlight and emerge in an alleyway on the other side of the prison wall, the elven at your back. I'm hoping the fact that I chose not to murder him isn't going to have been a poor decision. I go outside the cell. You emerge onto the quiet side street and begin to weave and duck through the alleyways. The elven, weak from his long stay in the tiny cell, can barely keep pace with you, but is filled with such joy to be free that he laughs even as he trips and stumbles. I'm gonna turn left. The first junction, you turn left. Do you know where you're going? Asks the elven, but there isn't time to reply. I turn left again. The elven is flagging. He cannot help running like this anymore. Go on, he gasps from several strides behind. I'll hide here. Is an elven an elf? I believe the elven are a little more like the little sprite EE creatures, not quite like Jan, but similar. So I don't think the elven are elf. Not 100% sure though. Since we did have the dark elves that were in the hut earlier, I don't think they called them dark elven. We're gonna go ahead and help this guy out. You're nearly free, you reply, grabbing the... You're nearly free, you reply, grabbing the elven under his arm. I mean it, he hisses, shaking himself free. I'll hide, you idiot, while you distract any more guards with your running. Now go. Alright, I almost feel like he's going to pretend he's some other elven and be like, the other person ran that way. But too late. Good plan, you reply. I know that, the elven hisses, burying himself in a pile of boxes and scrap. Now go. It breaks your heart to leave him. I don't know why, seeing as I just met him. But you know he is right. You wish him luck, then hurry away. The elven crawls into a pile of junk and beds down. Perhaps you will see him again. I turn left again. The elvins were the ones who kidnapped and made you do magic in the first sorcery, weren't they? I think you're right, yes. But they didn't hurt me at all, and they ultimately didn't have any super evil intentions. So, they're just sort of a mischievous type of sort. You keep running, taking a left. Quite suddenly, you merge out from the alleyway into a wider, busier street. You slow yourself down to a nonchalant walk. I'm not a villain. I didn't steal from anyone. The road turns and heads roughly southeast once more. But you have been spotted! A group of young orclings are scurrying towards you. Oh no, the child orcs have caught me. I think they're just scurrying towards me. I don't think they're after me, so maybe I'll just hurry and avoid them. You increase your stride, hoping to breeze straight past, but the gang is big enough for them to easily block the road. You are soon right in their midst. Their hands poke at you, push outwards, hoping for a donation. You know, I could give them a gold piece, seeing as I've robbed fucking several gold pieces now. So, really, it's not a loss. Ultimately, I give the orclings a gold piece. And then they start squabbling over it. Let's just leave the orclings. You gently move the orclings aside so you can continue along the path, but despite your gift, they are still crowding close and their hands mauling at your backpack. They're playing or they're trying to steal from me. I feel like if I lift the bag up over my head, then they're just going to be more encouraged to keep harassing me. So what if we can't sing as they're all playing here? There's the one spell I have that makes the fake gold. I wonder if I could cast that. You cast a spell and piles of golden treasure spill from the sleeves of your jacket and all over the road. The orclings go instantly into a frenzy of collection, running over each other and beating each other up, stuffing handfuls of gems into their tunics. You take the opportunity to slip away. They're gonna tickle you if you lift your bag over your head. Oh my god, that probably would definitely be the case. Hell. I continue up the road, leaving the orclings behind me, and I come across a building made of stones and mortar. I look at the building. It stands alone inside its own patch of grounds, and unusually, it seems to be in a state of good repair. A large L is carved on one gatepost. For Lorag, perhaps? The main road continues straight past the house. If that's the case, we want to check out Lorag's house. Oh my god, look at it! You enter the gate and follow the path to the front of the house. Between tall, well-tended trees, this place, unlike the mansion in Lower Care, seems quite lived in. Okay, so this is definitely the case that the left side of Care is Lower Care, and the right side of Care is Upper Care. So it's not map-wise upper and lower, or even in sections of each, but just Upper Care, Lower Care. I could just go straight up to the front door. I could also creep around to the side and see what's happening over here. You move confidently, and with stealth, dropping to all fours. You sneak through the gate and crouch low below the windows at the side of the house. But the house seems to be empty, so your caution is unnecessary. Staying close to the ground, you explore the grounds of the building. Before I continue, I think I'm also going to go ahead and drink one of my potions here. Seeing as, again, got fucking 4 of them. Oh, that didn't restore as much stamina as I thought it was going to. Oh well. We continue out by the outbuilding. You creep to the cover of an outbuilding. It was perhaps once a storehouse, but its contents have now burst through its walls. Broken items and bits of glass tumble out between bent wooden slats and through fractured window panes. Looking back at the house, you can make out a door into the rear of the house. Always look through junk, you never know when there's treasure hidden inside. I pick cautiously through the junk. Ooh, and oh shit, there's a gold-backed mirror. Its glass shattered, some fragments of an orb of crystal, and half of a pearl ring, which looks like a bite mark was taken out of it. The owner of this house must be a wizard, and is not afraid to experiment with valuable equipment either, because all 3 of these items are all items that are required for spell casting. I'm gonna try to repair one of them. Okay, so our options: pearl ring, gold-backed mirror, and the orb of crystal.
And hello there, Graviton, and welcome to the stream.
So, if I look over to my spells, the options: crystal orb will allow me to have future sight. The gold-backed mirror will allow me to duplicate the enemy, and then I will have them as sort of my ally. And we can also have that pearl ring, which will grant partial invisibility. And how well that invisibility works depending on the surroundings, how noisy I'm being, and how well an enemy is observing us. So what are we going to try to repair here? What would be most useful? I kind of feel like not future sight. You know, I've been getting through things without a problem. Not being able to see into the future. I haven't even read anyone's mind, even though I'm able to do that, so I feel like invisibility or enemy duplication would be much more useful. And in particular, if I'm trying to sneak around, or if I was trying to sneak away from something, invisibility would probably be more use. You lift the gold-backed mirror carefully out of the pile. The glass is cracked, but none of it seems to have fallen out of the frame, which means you may, well, be able to repair it.
I put it in my pack for later.
You open your pack, but as you try to slide the mirror in, the glass fragments fall out and shatter to dust. No good. How about the ring? There are tooth marks in it. Something has eaten the pearl itself, or perhaps they ate the person wearing the ring and this part spat back out. How about the crystal? Would have allowed the cast of the spell foreshadowing, but now it's good for nothing. Most of it is missing. Well, I turn away from the junk, and I start heading towards the back door. Well, that sucks. And here I thought I was actually going to be able to get one of those items, but it was all a tease. You know, sometimes if you call, for example, the fireplace, it doesn't allow me to come back to these places. What if we went inside and explored the house first, and then we came back to Shack? I go back to creeping around the side. Go by the outbuilding. No, that's just going to make me straight ignore it. Okay, so we're going to go to the building. We approach the house. If I just go straight in through the front door, can I do that instead? I knock on the door. The door to the house is solid oak wood, decorated with elaborate carvings of vines and trees and serpents. In the middle is a great brass knocker, and I knock and nothing happens. I like it just straight as cast a spell. It doesn't even let me try and open the door at all. Like, what? Yeah, like what if there was magic fix-it dust inside? Because then I would be able to take that dust out and fix up one of those broken items. And it's alright if you're not actively talking. Lurking is just fine kidding. Now, do I want to cast a spell and come inside this way? I think I'm just going to leave the front door. And is it just going to make me stuck? I have to look at it if I don't go through the front door. Very well. I'm going to try to repair them all anyway, because then my character will have the knowledge, and maybe it will let me, you know, come back to it. Alright, I sneak in the back. The inside of the house is well kept and clean. There are fresh flowers and vases, and the surfaces are dust-free. It is as though whoever lived here has just slipped out for a few minutes and will return at any moment, except for the paper strewn everywhere across the hallway. The floor is almost a foot deep in books, torn pages, and folders with charred edges. It is as though a lightning storm has passed through the study on the left. Another door lies opposite. By the smell of it, it is a kitchen. I look through the papers. You browse through the papers. Some are complex and you can't understand the words. Others are calculations. There are also maps and charts and plans. Other documents look almost like charts for spell making. Whoever lived here was clearly a scholar of some great wisdom, and most likely a wizard as well. Exploring doesn't seem like a good idea. I explore anyway. I go into the kitchen. It is laid out as though the owner of the house was in the middle of preparing a meal. Bread is sliced, cheese is on a plate, and a glass of wine sits beside the open bottle. Nothing here has had time to go moldy. Something is rattling in one of the cupboards. I should also note that I could see one part of how it was like, maybe exploring isn't such a good idea. Is if this is a wizard house, he could have magically booby-trapped all of these different areas. Like, maybe I shouldn't just eat this cheese and wine that's sitting out? Maybe a bad idea? Uh-oh. I open the cupboard out of curiosity and are immediately bowled over as a thing erupts with an angry force. You crawl backwards into the hallway to get away from its gnashing fangs and get to your feet to see what it is. A bristle beast, and it is furious. That means I start with casting a spell. What is S? Sap? Whatever? Oh, no. Oh. I haven't had the opportunity to use sap yet. What happens if I cast a depression spell on a bristle beast? You cast the spell over the creature, who draws its hind legs up piteously and begins to whine. It is already quite sad, it would seem, over whatever has happened to its master, and the effects of your spell are too much for it. It slopes back into the kitchen. Oh. Bristle beast. Sad. Extra sad. He goes back to cry in the kitchen. Oh. And hello there, Gloskin and Shriner, and welcome to the stream. Here to eat the keys? Sorry. All you get is sadness. You can eat the sad? Maybe? You open the door to the study, pushing hard against a deeper pile of paper. This room looks like a tornado has traveled through it. Perhaps one has. In the very center of the room is a blackened circle burnt into the carpet. There is a smell of iron and ammonia in the air. It is hard to escape the sense that some great and terrible magic was performed here not long ago. But there is no sign of the magician who has crafted such a powerful spell. The sadness doesn't taste good? No, I would imagine it does not taste very good at all. I search the papers. On all fours, you dig through the piles of papers. Books, torn up, almanacs, historical files, blah, blah, blah. On one sheet, though, you find an intriguing series of symbols. Then a series of other marks, written, crossed out. Only one is still readable, and it has been circled. An upside down L. I keep searching. You keep rustling through the paper and finding little else of value. Then underneath a heap of tomes about the early founders, several passages you can't read, you unearth a green-haired wig? Fuck yeah! That means if I come across any creatures I can't understand, you know, like the animal speech or a non-human language, we've got the green wig that would let us talk to those creatures. Very good. I grab the green-haired wig and I stuff it into my backpack and I return to the hallway. I leave the house and I return to the outside. Back to the main road I go. Clown hair? I pictured it more like Medusa than I did a clown, but I guess it's not terribly far off. The road continues on between dense houses on either side, when suddenly you begin to smell a sharp, acrid smell. Burning. Looking up ahead, you see a column of smoke. The district on fire? Now, do I turn down an alleyway or do I push onwards? My scheming voice scares you? I can't imagine why it would. I'm gonna go dive into an alley. You turn aside from the road, taking one of the winding side alleys, eventually emerging within the sight of the square. Did I just walk all around all over the place here? And now here I am, back at Fireview. I need to go through the archway there. So we're gonna leave the square. And we're gonna go through the archway. I'm pretty sure that means we're going to walk straight back to the fires. I think that's a statue, not an actual living creature. You walk between the narrow buildings until you reach a fork. To the left, the road continues towards some kind of bustling market, while to the right, it leads down a shorter street. In the center of the fork is a great bronze statue with some kind of pot at its feet. There we go. It is indeed just a statue, but yeah, it does kind of look like there's a colossus back behind it. The statue is pretty ripped though, yeah. Also, it appears to be naked and it's censoring itself, sparing the innocent by holding this club just right in front as if it was a fig leaf. I like this one sort of halfling type of creature here. Hang on. Do you see this guy over here? He's got a cane? That's just a leg? Did he remove his own leg and it's just stuck out next to him? What if his leg turned to stone and it broke off and so he's just been using his leg, his own leg, as a walking cane? Well, let's go ahead and look at the statue. The statue is of a giant brute wielding a club, and at its feet is a large pot filled with gold pieces. This must be one of Care's many gods, with the pot intended for worshippers making offerings, although none of the passing creatures seem to be throwing any in. Look down the street. Looking down the short street to the right, you see a sign above a doorway reading, "The Gambling Halls of Lada." Several seedy-looking creatures mill about on the steps. Cheerful creatures go in, and miserable-looking ones come out. Do you think they play that swindle stone in there? I never thought about a cane with a foot on the bottom. Yeah, now, I kind of want to browse around and see if those exist. Do you think anybody makes walking sticks with feet? Like a literal human foot at the end of it? Imagine being obscenely wealthy. You love to walk around with a walking cane because it makes you feel, is so much more prim and proper and, wealthy. And as you're looking around, you find one with a foot on the bottom of it. Oh, how unusual, peculiar. That will surely make you stand out from the crowd of other wealthy individuals. You purchase it. You go around. Now, since there's a foot at the end of it, you measure the size of the foot. Oh, it wears a size 10.5 now, does it? You begin spending money to buy expensive pairs of shoes that you may put upon the leg, upon the foot. And then you're able to show off your wealth even more thanks to extra foot. And then you can also start showing off your shoe collection too. And now you're heading off, cruise go. All right, I hope you have a nice day. Thanks for coming on by to watch. You have seen one with a dinosaur foot? Amazing. Big clown shoe cane. Oh my god, that would be really good too. If you're a clown and you've got a walking cane and it's got a foot on it and that foot has a clown shoe on. So good. And then you could be, as part of your clown act, you use that walking stick to pretend it's a literal third leg, perhaps? Alright, let's go ahead and make a move. The cane honks with each step. God damn it. There's a button on the cane that sprays out water, too. So we want to go down to the Fallen Quarter and the Necropolis. And if we want to go down to the Fallen Quarter, we would want to go... I'm not sure if we could go in either direction, if we could enter into the Necropolis and then exit out right here. I can see there's like a little hole right here. If we could go into the Fallen Quarter, then go into the Necropolis, then leave, that might be the best way. Because you can see the Necropolis right here exits out at a gate. So if we went to the Fallen Quarter first, and then into the Necropolis. So perhaps we'll do that. I think maybe if we go down the alleyway, we would be able to start walking down here. Okay, you watch the center of the square and turn about, peering into all the narrow alleyways. It makes comments about them. Now I can go to an alley over here. You choose a random alleyway on the right side of the square and slip into the shadow between the tall buildings. The houses on either side are well built and well defended. There are iron railings on the windows, and some even have arrow slits and portcullises. One householder has dug a moat across his front door. Outside one building, a tall man stands with a grappling hook. Truly the city of traps right here. I watch him. You hang back and watch as he swings his grappling hook twice, aiming for one of the windows on the floor above. Hook misses and clatters to the street below. Man curses before gathering up the rope for another try. I think I'm just gonna keep on going. Probably just something that happens. Continue on down towards the fallen quarter. The street is falling into disrepair around you. Something has blighted this region of the city. Even though the trees and the gardens behind the mansions have turned black where they stand. The only greenery is the moss on the stone walls. There are no rats scurrying underfoot, and only spiders roost in the rooftops. You pass a particularly grand house. Its doors locked with heavy iron chain. Okay, check out expensive house. I look at the house and there is a metal S bolted beneath one gable. I check my clues. We have First Noble, Sansis, Theta, Lord Shinva, and Molus. We know Lord Shinva is dead and buried. Maybe this could be Sansis, unless Sansis was the one mad king. But if this was Sansis's house, we would be able to get a line of the spell from here. And thank you, Dunder, for resubscribing for 12 months. Oh, hey, 12 months. Hell yeah. Thank you for resubscribing. Appreciated. Thank you. And welcome to the stream, by the way. And Baldir is heading out. All right. I hope you have a nice night. So, metal S, perhaps its owner's mark, perhaps it is there to stop the wall falling out onto the street. There is a ringing noise from down the alley. A hooded creature with a bell around its neck is approaching in shuffling steps. I could cast a spell and unlock the chains and go inside. Could stop and talk to this creature first. I'm a lot more cautious here in Upper Care because it seems kind of like there's a lot more villainy and scheming going on between the people over here. And hello there, cup of coffee, and welcome. I look at the creature. A long black robe conceals what manner of creature it is, but it walks slowly as though in great pain. Round its neck is a bell, ringing with every heavy step. You know what? Fuck it. I greet the creature. Greetings, stranger, you call. The creature with the bell does not look up, but continues its shuffling approach. Now that the creature is close, you can hear its sighing, painful breath. I wonder if there's also a way that I could help him out, you know, relieve him a little bit. Like healing a disease. You cast the spell over your potion, creating a strong healing medicine. The effect will last as long as the magic does, but when the magic fades, the potion will evaporate away if it has not been used. As the hooded creature passes, you can smell its terrible disease. You step back, not wanting to brush the cloth as the creature passes. I throw my potion at the creature. You wait for the creature in the robe to come close, and then you toss the potion at the space under its hood. It wails in alarm, raising clawed hands to its face. A moment later, it falls completely still. Its hands are feeling over its face. Then it pulls the hood down, revealing a young woman. You just catch sight of a deep, dark boil melting away from her skin. "Good stranger," she murmurs. "What have you done?" I guess I cured you, but I don't know exactly what you had. What did I cure you of? The woman laughs, shocked and surprised. "Oh, I've been suffering most dreadfully. I did not think I would be long for this world, but now I feel quite myself. Oh, I had almost forgotten how it is to feel well." Oh, I'm glad I could help you out. She nods. I am more than glad, she replies. My heart bursts. She smiles. I will return to my village. Oh, my mother will be so pleased. She blamed herself when I fell ill. It was a miracle. Which village is that, huh? A small place in the hills, she replies with a shrug. I'm sure you do not know it. Earlstanti? I've never heard of place. It's near Biratanti. Oh, that one is my home. Do you know it? I have been there. Have I been there? I don't remember if I've been there. I think the first one was a village. Cast big. Fucking hell. I just need to cast big all the goddamn time. Truly, that's the way through. I've totally been there. I look back and forth. She takes a step away. I should be moving on, she says. I have a long way to go. Hang on. Let me ask you about the city port, if I can, if you don't mind. All right, of course, she replies, though I do not know what I can tell you. I've seen so little of care since I arrived. Once they saw I was ill, they dumped me quickly out here in the wastes. Well, I'm looking for a beggar who lives out here, actually. She nods. There is indeed. He lives in the ruins of the old church. I believe he was someone important once. Sometimes when I was lonely, I stayed with him, keeping quiet so he would not know I was there. I have heard him murmuring in his sleep. Oh? I lean in. What does he say? He murmurs a phrase to himself, but I did not understand it. A curse of some kind, probably. She shakes her head, but I have forgotten it. She looks back over her shoulder at the falling sun. I must be gone, stranger. She grabs your hand and squeezes it firmly, then dashes up the street. At the last moment, she turns and calls back. If you're going to the fallen quarter, mind you avoid the mill wheel. And then she is gone. Well, I was able to help her out, at least. I don't know if she provided me with a particularly useful set of information, but oh well. I cast a spell. D O P. And I cast it. And it is unlocked. And so then I enter the house. Imagine unlocking the chain and just being like, yup, this house is now completely open. And then I just turn and continue down the street. I go inside. It is a mansion on a grand scale, even larger than the abandoned house you explored on the lower side of Care. There are at least 3 floors and 2 great doors leading off to the wings on either side of the entrance hall. From the back of the house comes a voice, "The Lord is not home." Which Lord? The figure shambles forward, resolving itself out of darkness into a tall ogre wearing the livery of a maidservant. His eyes are tightly closed. "Lord Shinva is not at home," he intones once more. "Please leave." Aha! Lord Shinva! We know about Lord Shinva, and he was one of the people that had that code that we need. Lord Shinva is dead, isn't he? "Indeed," the creature replies. "He will not be returning for some time." Maybe never, seeing as he's fucking dead? Returning? "Not so dead that he might not be revived," the creature replies. "Oh, resurrection, huh? But I hold out very little hope. My service will continue regardless, of course." As he speaks, you notice a flash of metal from his neck. Some kind of collar, made of a strange dull-colored metal. Then the collar is covered up by his shirt. "Must now ask you to step outside. he declares, gesturing towards the door. Poor guy's stuck to work here forever. But where can I find him? Try the necropolis, the creature replies, but my lord does not take kindly to visitors without an appointment. He nods to the door once more. You leave the house and return to the street. What? Man, but ow. I would like to explore some more. Fine. We need to go to the church. We can... Is this the church? I think that might be the halls of Vlad. Because I think this is the church area, perhaps? It's hard to tell exactly what's belonging to the Fallen Quarter. Because this house, at least, or large building, looks a little bit too well off to be the abandoned church ruins. The buildings are thinning out. Through a gap between roofs, you can make out a tall, crooked steeple some way away, like a finger pointing up towards the heavens. A dark shape sits at its very tip. I look at it. As you watch, the shape seems to grow wide, then flatten once more, as though it had opened and closed. A bird? A flag? We're going to the wasteland. Once again, you are emerging from the alley into a wide area of wasteland. Once this was a busy city district, but now it looks as though a hurricane has leveled it. Nothing stands higher than head height. A few staircases lead to nowhere, and in some places a door still stands. Plants grow from every crevice and crack as though someone had poured green paint over the whole scene. Things are constantly moving and shuffling between the leaves. The roads, such as it is quickly smothered by piles of wreckage. There are lots of other ways to pick your way through. One possible route leads up and over the side of the broken down house. Another passes by what might have once been a mill. You would have to climb over the mill wheel to continue this way. I don't want to go to the mill. I look at the broken house. The house has been sliced, like a many-layered cake, showing the floors that were once inside. Opened rooms have been stripped of their color by the wind and light, and of the possessions by a decade or more of scavengers. But there are still hints that this place was once a family home. The hooks in the ceiling above the hearth, the marks notched on the ground floor pillar that suggest the height of growing children. We're gonna climb the broken house. You clamber up the fallen rubble to the roof of the broken building. From here, you get a clear view across the rest of the wasteland. It stretches for a mile or two and will take about an hour to cross on foot. And at its far side, a tall iron fence thick with ivy slices across the land. Perhaps to keep the people of the wasteland out, or to keep whatever is fenced or is beyond the fence in. In the distance, you see dark shapes moving across the sky, move across the path, which soon forks. This way seems to be more on the side of the Fallen Quarter. We'll head over here. Alright, so on one side a roof sticks out of a sand dune. On the other, a front door lies flat on the ground as though leading to a hidden cellar. And then the path comes to a building that, amidst all this destruction, is still standing. Door closed, stone wall seems completely intact. I try the door. It falls open. We're going in. House consists of a single room with a large table and a large chair, and in the far corner, a sealed box. Everything seems in good repair, and wood looks waxed and polished, and the hinges on the box are free of rust. We look around. And the table foot from underneath it. I look at the foot. It is clawed and a dull shade of gray-green. It is about the size of your head and sticks out from under the low table. A very large creature. I see if the foot moves. It does not move, but doesn't smell. So it's not a stinky foot, and does not imply that they're dead either. I don't know. I could probably go for the box and rob it. I'm kind of curious what happens if I wake up the foot. I pull out my walking cane and I poke at it. I poke at the creature. I go for the box. I left out a stone from the box. You pick out one of the stones at random and lift it from the box. It isn't heavy, but it is exquisitely smooth, not quite round, with a dimple at the top and a deeper pit near the top. In fact, you realize as you turn it over in your hand, it is carved in the shape of an apple. Looking in the box, you see other carved foodstuffs. Apples, bread, rolls of goat cheese, ham. I look through the stone food. You search through the box, hoping to find something to explain the purpose of the collection, but you discover nothing more. Turning away, your eyes fall on the other side of the table, where the head of the creature lies. The face is clearly stone, the eyes are stone, the open mouth is stone. It is a statue of a Sven, or was once a Sven. That's why it wasn't moving and why it didn't smell, is because it's just a rock now. I look at the shovel. It has a wide blade, good for heavy digging. This creature was a gardener, perhaps, or a farmer, or more likely, a city grave digger, but now he's just stone. Such things are not impossible, but perhaps he buried a wizard's lover. A day too soon, perhaps. Wah, and I step back outside. Man, I can't even take his shovel. What the fuck? I go through the wasteland. Alright, constant movement in the corner of my eyes, rats. Path turns around a large stone fountain, which is toppled over on one side, revealing an empty well shaft leading down into the earth. I look at the fountain. The fountain is carved to resemble a gigantic serpent, leaning up from the base of the pedestal with its jaws open to devour a marble sun. Openings in the stone suggest that when the fountain was working, water ran between its scales and down onto the base, as though the serpent was being pushed down by a rainstorm. This might be kind of like that giant brass statue that was at the last city area. So this might be another worship spot. So what happens if I drop a coin into the well? Wishing to the 8 for good fortune, you toss a coin down the well, plunges into the darkness, then with a thunk, hits something barely a foot or two down. A wooden board? I look in. You peer over the edge and look down into the darkness. There seems to be some kind of wood ledge built across half the shaft a short way down. Your gold piece is sitting there. And beyond the ledge, the well continues into darkness. Honestly, I think I might just leave it there because I kind of want to make sure that I'm able to go check out the church here. And I'm a little bit concerned that if I try and go and get this from the well here, I'm just going to end up falling in and ending up in the sewer again. I leave it. I'm going to rewind, though, if this fucking doesn't take me to the church, though, if I go over here. Here we go, low hovel. I think I should be able to go up there then. I can even skip this low hovel and go straight over to the steeple. If I go to the hovel, can I still go to the steeple? I listen at the door of the hovel. You stand and hold your breath, but you can hear nothing from inside. Perhaps it is unoccupied. Certainly it can't contain much, so I go in. Oh, what the? You step into the shade of the tiny hovel, and your eyes widen. The room inside is lined, floor to ceiling, with trinkets, knickknacks, bric-a-brac, and other miscellaneous stuff. Some is piled up on the shelves, some hangs from the ceiling, and even more leans against the walls. There are weapons, pottery, jewelry, domestic objects, magical items, and so on. Dude, and check out his, magical wizard hat there. Oh my god. It's a gnome. Sitting cross-legged on the floor in the midst of all this mess is a small bearded gnome
Who rubs his hands and greets you as you come in.
Welcome, traveler.
Greetings, gnome.
Greetings! Come on, let's see if we can do a little bartering. As you can probably tell, I've no interest in money.
The gnome gestures around his little room. There is clearly a lot to choose from, but the items which stand out are a bamboo flute. I could get that and force our enemies to dance. We could get the bamboo flute, and here at the end when we face the goblin army, we make them all do a jig. Oh my god. We can have our goblin dance party. Okay. There's also a goblin's teeth, compass, needle, whose needle quivers in a direction which is close to but not actually north. I wonder what the compass does. Beeswax makes my sword sharp. Teeth makes it so I can summon goblins. But the flute. I want the dance flute. You pick up the pipe and play a quick and merry tune. The gnome smiles. Anything else? The gnome asks. I would also take the compass. I pick up the compass.
It's not a normal compass, the goblin says. Instead, it'll point you to where it thinks you need to go. I'm afraid it has a mind of its own, and it isn't always correct. And it probably won't work in the countryside outside Care either. So I'd understand if you don't want it.
Hell, I'd take it. For a moment, you seem to see something move in the corner of your eye. Sounds intriguing, you reply, not putting the compass down.
That's 2 items so far,
the gnome remarks, counting on his fingers. I think that's enough. We'll leave the other 2.
All done?
The gnome answers.
Very good. I've counted that you've taken 2 things, so that means I've taken the same number of things of yours. I'm very quick. You probably didn't notice me doing it. Good day.
The gnome gestures toward the door for you to leave. Wait, hang on. What did you take? Because depending on what you took, I might not care at all. The gnome looks surprised.
Well, really, I have no idea. I'm a kleptomaniac, as should be fairly obvious.
He motions to all his stuff again.
And what's more, I couldn't see into your pack when I was taking it. Now could I? But I'm very fair. I took exactly the right amount of things, so we're all square.
Hang on. I look around for my things. You can see the gnome's point. In all the piles of things, you don't recognize any of your belongings, and it's hard to be sure what he took anyway. If I peek up into my inventory, I wonder if I can tell right now or if I won't be able to see until afterwards. I can see that all my other items are still here. All of my magical items are still here. My gloves that I was wearing are now gone. Still have the badge of the 7th Noble. What was the other thing that he took? I still have my skull cap. I've got 2 pebbles because I used one of them earlier. I've only got 3 doses of blueberry juice because I used one. He took gloves off your hands and you didn't even notice. Yeah, goddamn. Compass, walking cane, essence of bark, poison. Well, okay, sounds fair. Very well. You are not pleased, but there is nothing for it. You head out of the hovel. You return back along the path to the junction. Wait, hang on. I want to go to the steeple, though. What? What steeple? Where are you? I dash around trying to find it. I'm also going to do one more quick peek. Yeah, I don't know what that other item he took was. I go to the edge of the wastelands. After a while, another path joins this one. Looking back along it, you see a toppled steeple. You are back at the far edge of the wasteland. Ahead, the sun is setting. Needle on the compass is quivering. I check it. It's swinging between the iron fence and the path backwards through the wasteland towards the steeple. It's probably going between both of them because it's saying,
Hey, excuse me, Holder, you want to go to both areas because both of them have those nobles.
so we want to go to the steeple first. She doesn't know. I know that other item that was taken from me. I don't know what it was.
The gnome did have some very quick hands, though, it's true. He just ran right over and was just
like, here I am, even pointing with my hands, going, I think I like this one. And just, he peels the glove off my hand, and I don't even realize it. You make your way through the wasteland towards the church. Most of the building is in ruins, but a tall steeple still reaches for the sky. Circling the steeple are two dark shapes that look like enormous birds. And at the foot of the church is a man in rags. I look at him. I stop and look. Could this be Theta? His face is curiously familiar. You have definitely seen it somewhere before since you arrived in Care. Although you have not seen any other beggars as filthy and smelly as this one. What if, I recall in the first part, there was the one beggar dude that we had talked to and helped out? I'm pretty sure. And that might be him. We wake the beggar man up. You reach down and wake him gently. At first he doesn't respond and you wonder if you are too late. But then he sits up sharply. Who's there? He demands. I'm under attack! Under attack! He rubs his eyes, then reaches out with dirty fingertips to your face. I'm going to introduce myself first off. Greetings, you say. The beggar groans and grumbles. What did you wake me for? I can see in my dreams, you know. I'd rather stay there. Who are you? You demand. I have seen your face somewhere before. I'm nobody. The beggar insists. Nobody at all. What do I give him? Give him a coin. Okay. So we went to one of the noble houses. And I think it's supposed to imply that we realize that he's one of these noble people, so we're kind of proving that. I don't think it's the Seven Nobles badge. Because Theta is not the seventh noble? Or is he? I can't recall. Well, check out this sick badge I've got. I want to show you something, you say. One moment. Digging into your pack, you pull out the badge that you took from the abandoned house. You place it into his palms and he feels over it, frowning with concentration as he tries to work out its shape. Then suddenly he drops it. I don't want that, he says sharply. I don't know what it is. It's not mine. He kicks it away, and it skitters off into the debris. What? No! Whose is it? How would I know? He replies, shaking as he speaks. It feels nothing like a noble's badge. Maybe it's Shinva's. Maybe it's Theta's. It's nothing to do with me. But you are Theta, you stupid. The man looks absolutely terrified by the accusation. He begins to curl up around himself and scream. It seems quite a strong reaction. And you see he's not looking at you, but past you. I look up, and the two dark shapes are hurtling downwards, beating wide, leathery wings. They are the creatures you saw flying around the steeple. Oh, God-cursed harpies, he declares bitterly. They come for me every time. Every coin I get, every apple, every stinking crust of bread. They come and they take it from me. What did I do to deserve such torment? I step in front of the beggar. I push the beggar back and stare up into the sky. The harpies come down. I pray for healing from the ape because I don't have a lot of stamina. I cast a spell. Prepared. I wonder, do you think you're able to talk to harpies? I should also reposition my... Oh. Oh. That's what the goblin took. Or the gnome took. He took the green-haired wig I got. The one that I just got from the one house. There it goes. I guess we're not going to be talking to any animals or non-human creatures now. Rip. At least I can make creatures dance. I mean, there's that. Ooh. Okay. What can I cast instead? P-O. Oh, pop. I can pop at the harping. Could cast hot at the harping. I wonder if I could muddle the mind of the harping. You cast the spell over the first harpy, which begins to reel and stagger in the air, as though drunk. Seems they're not very clever. And so that harpy, totally taken care of, and now I gather my strength for the next battle, and apparently something has made my stamina extremely low over there. I can only do 8. I'm gonna start with defending. Harpy does baby hit. Don't let him get you, cries the beggar unhelpfully.
Hey, person that jumped out to help me. Just don't get hit, okay? Good luck.
Thanks. What if I hit the harpy now? Ouch. Bad idea. I'm definitely gonna have to redo this battle. It's probably going to do big hit next, right? Bigger hit, at least. Claws grasping. 7. 1 damage. Oh my god. I probably am not going to be doing a lot of damage anymore, I feel like. If it's moving at terrifying speed, yeah, big hit. We're gonna have to redo this. Try again. Round 2. I hit with small hit. Ow. Okay, it starts off big hit. We do little hit. I will do another small hit. And it doesn't have a lot yet. Well, I think what it's really showing is how much it used last time, I suppose, or the time before that. I think I'm also doing a lot less damage now, and I was really only getting those big hits before because of the gloves I had been wearing. And now that they're gone, I'm kind of comparatively weak. And it kills me again. We're gonna have to go one more time here. Try again. That dang gnome, I know. Okay, we defend against its huge hit. And then we do small hit. We'll do another small hit. And it's going to do a bigger hit. I'm not sure if 4.59 is gonna... Yeah. Good thing I defended, because otherwise I would not have had enough to take care of that. We're going to hit him again with 4. So he'll do small. He's going to do another small. Oh. Not small enough for me to get away from that. I think the next one should be a bigger hit. Yeah, kind of. Okay, I did finish, and I do have at least 3 stamina. Lost 7. I don't think I'm going to be able to avoid that much. We're just going to have to drink one of my potions. I wonder if it's better to be able to... it only heals 3. I wonder if it heals more if I'm able to cast Dock on it. Well, not like I'm able to just freely cast things as I want. Oh, well. Beggar creeps out from his hiding place and thanks you 2 or 3 times over. I talk to him. Lord Theta, I'd like to talk to you. He sighs. That's my name. I don't deny it. He replies. I'll talk to you. Talk to you happily. Ever since the blindness struck me down, I have been tormented by those demons, and now they are dead. You have saved me. Or as much as I can be saved. I wonder if I cast the Dock spell on one of the potions, if I poured it on his eyes, it would restore his sight. What happened to your eyes? You take a moment to show some sympathy. A black eye curse. And I know who cursed me. It was Sansus. Ow. Once he was a good ruler, fair and honest. He ruled care like a kind father looking after a cherished daughter. Nothing was too much effort. But he began to fear his other counselors. Thought they were plotting against him, ready to overthrow him. Okay. Were you? The beggar laughs sadly. Molas was. As soon as Sansus gave Molas one of the spell lines, he wanted them all. He wanted them for himself, so he could hold the city to ransom. Molas used to be a blackmailer. Theta sighs, but I was loyal and Sansus repaid me like this. He begins to weep once more. Did the goblin claim he had blinded Theta? And Sansus has been missing. Seems like the Mad King was Sansus. Could Sansus really be about to overrun his own city with goblins? Can't be mad enough for that, right? The beggar shivers against a sudden breath of cold. The afternoon is waning. Evening is approaching already. Days are growing shorter, Theta remarks. It's like that here, near the Bachlands. All right, I want your spell line, please. Happily, he says. I'm glad to be rid of it. It was... Oh no. My memory is not as good as it was. Let me see. It was... He racks his brains, thinking for all he's worth. We wait a moment. Got it! He exclaims. It's by Kurga's grace and something's pride. Oh, but I can't remember the other half.
However, I already heard the other half of the line from the goblins from earlier.
Persia? That's it, he exclaims. Or was it Tenga? No. I think it was Persia. Beggar makes a coughing sound. Oh, I'm starving. So hungry. But I have no food. Oh, well, all I've got is that blimberry juice. All right, how about you tell me the order of the spell lines, if you can? No idea, although I know mine came first. I know that. Should I give him his walking cane? I hand it to him. You take his outstretched hand and place the walking cane into his grip. His fingers find its familiar shape and he leans quickly onto it with a sigh. Oh, my old friend, he murmurs. This saw me through the worst times when my eyes were failing. I hardly need it now, of course. To demonstrate, he spins around on the spot, gets his legs into a tangle, and sits sharply down laughing. But thank you, stranger. You are indeed kind. And so I leave, and he says goodbye. And I move on. Into the necropolis. We will now go. Path ends at a tall and ancient iron fence, overgrown with weeds. Through the dense leaves, you can make out a wide area beyond, dotted with stones and small buildings and straight, somber trees. It is a necropolis of mausoleums and tombs. I try climbing the ivy. You test the ivy. It seems tightly wound around the railings. Wedging one toe between the many metal bars, you grip the cord of the plant and haul your way up. Second foot is up. You are climbing, though you can feel the plant tearing under your hands. I keep climbing and I fall. I probably could have cast a spell for Hal. Straight up, we follow the hole. And so we're in the graveyard now. I wonder, real fast, if I cast Hal... Because I can fucking see it on the map, that goddamn hole. H-O-W. Have you cast Zap yet? I haven't had a whole lot of opportunities to cast Zap, so there hasn't been a lot of Zap casting. But hello there, Salvage. Come and welcome. Alright, and so then you cast a spell and a clear, calm voice enters your mind to tell you that there is a way through the fence already present. You cannot see it, however, so it must be covered somehow. Voice offers no more, and then spell fizzles away. But then we notice a rat scurry through the fence. I pull the ivy away, seeing a hole, so I climb through the hole. And then I'm in the necropolis. You are standing in the grounds of the necropolis, a city within the city, occupied by the headstones and mausoleums of the dead. Somewhere between the yews and cedars you can make out the wide road that loops through the graveyard before turning uphill as it heads for the far gate. The wind whistles between the tall trees. The sun is setting behind the wall. I use the compass. You pull the compass and consult the needle. It spins around twice and points at the depths of the graveyard. I'm not sure if the depths of the graveyard indicates the newer tomes or the older tomes. I guess the older tomes would make more sense, since that would be more into the graveyard then, yeah? Though on the other hand, it did say the guy was recently deceased. So we might have wanted the older graves instead. Most of the stones here are now merely rubble. A few statues lie face down in the mud. A tree has split through a carved coffin. If we find the oldest one, we did find Lorag, founder of Care. You feel the hairs on the back of your neck rise. Here's the grave of the man whose ghost you met at the gate. Okay, let's check it out. The tome is a simple stone cabinet, carved with the likeness of a man. From centuries of rain and wind, you can make out nothing of it but a long, grisly beard. Below the inscription is a long tablet, but it is half-weathered and covered in moss. Covered in moss!
Imagine instead it's just covered in a whole lot of insects over here. Ugh.
We clear the inscription. You clear away the dirt from the carved inscription, but you still cannot make out the words. Only trace their outlines with your finger. The eyes of the carved statue appear to be watching you. I make a rubbing. Well, I can't do that actually because I don't have any charcoal or anything. So I guess we're just going to examine the carved man. You look closer at the carved man, but notice nothing more. It is just an engraving of an old man in a serene death pose. So I leave. And we'll go explore the newer tomes. And this should be where Shiva's at. Oh, Jesus. Hey, compass. You want to point me to where I want to go? Taking out the compass, you take a bearing. It turns wildly before settling to a point to the tomes from Oxel to Tamarin. I guess we'll go into both. Oxel to Tamarin. Okay, we go that way. Oh, you know what? It's probably alphabetized, So, O to R would mean Shinva's is in the middle of it. Though we also can see Prayas and Reefs, but Shinva is definitely who I do want. Carved above its door is "Here rests Lord Shinva, 5th noble of Care. Your heart hammers. Is this the undead noble you were warned you would need to find? Well, let's find out. I enter his mausoleum. It seems to be unlocked too, and is a crack ajar, as though someone regularly came and went. Just in front of it is a ring of little mushrooms, growing up against the front step of the mausoleum. I look at the fairy ring. You crouch down to look at the mushrooms. They look highly poisonous. Not least because you cannot see a single insect crawling around or under any of them. Undead, I thought he was just dead. Apparently not. Unusually, the ring itself is also perfectly circular in shape. In its center, something silver glints. A stake pushed into the soft soil. Alright, we're gonna check out casting a spell first. Like, maybe I want to cast? I could make myself... How would making myself big help? Or I could make myself tiny? Can big work in opposite? I don't know if being big would really help me out here. I feel... Tell? This is mind reading spell. Who the fuck mind? Like, who's around here where I can read their mind? I don't know how that would help me either. The most that I can see being helpful is the protect from magic. Truly big is the most versatile spell. Truly. And so I cast that instead. You step into the circle of mushrooms to take the stake, confident that your spell of magical protection will keep you safe. Sure enough, you feel no ill effects of any kind. Or perhaps they were just mushrooms all along. You draw the stake out of the ground. It is a short sword made, it would appear, of pure silver. You don't have a cloth cap anyway? I do. I have that skull cap that I got 1,000,000 years ago, right here. I've had that fucking thing for so long. Alright, it's too cold to stand still. We walk into the tome. Does that mean we have... Yeah, we have... Silver sword -3? What? What does the -3 mean? Does it mean I'm losing 3 damage? I'm not sure I understand. Unless that means instead that it costs 3 stamina to use it? The air is freezing. Dust coats the floor. Urns line the walls, but there is no coffin. The floor space is empty, except for in the far corner, where a narrow stone staircase leads down into the darkness. By the way, Ape, nope, no help from them. It's a shame that I don't have any fire item. Because I could do that if that was the case. So I guess I'll just go. Skulls peer at you from the dark. Because the problem is that several of my spells where they don't require any items instead require stamina, and I've only got 4. Unless I have just stepped on a trap. I try to block it. You look around for something to block the door with, but all that comes to hand is a skull. You place into the gap in the doorway. The door slab continues to move, and the skull is pulverized into powder. Then it seals with a bang, and you are plunged in darkness. Excuse me while I go back. That was not close enough. I go back to Shinva's tome. And hello there. And welcome Endwell to the stream. Look, as I cast this spell, where I'm gonna want to cast Sus, that way I can see that there's traps. Clearing your mind to allow a calm inner voice to speak. It warns you that the lower level contains a dangerous death wraith who can only be defeated by weapons made of silver, which I did grab that 1 silver dagger. There's also a trap on the floor which will prevent you from escaping here. We make a move. Not stepping on the trap. Unless it just makes the door fucking close again. How can I get down to the basement? Without stepping on the tramp. I don't know. Well, here I am in the dark. I can feel for the stairs, I guess. Uh-oh. You feel your way over the stairs, moving carefully so as to not hurl yourself down them. Finally, your foot finds the toe step. There could be anything below. Pit, jaw of a serpent, manticore. We go down. We have to go down if we want to learn the rest of the spell. You steal your courage and move on, deeper down into the darkness. Menacing sounds echo up from the depths of the crypt. The clanking of chains, the moaning of wind. Perhaps there is some kind of machine down here. Perhaps the mechanism that operated the door? Surely it can be nothing worse. Wanting to cast a spell is really difficult for me to want to do when it requires items to do so. I don't exactly have stamina for it. Well, I freeze and I wait a moment. You stop still. Something reaches out and touches your neck with an ice-cold grip that tightens and tightens. So I stab it with the silver sword. You lash out with the silver sword and feel it connecting with your attack, who groans and moans. But in the darkness, you miss as often as you hit, while their grip on your neck is squeezing every last drop of air from your lungs. You begin to choke. I don't know that screaming would be good to do when it's getting rid of my air. And, heavy blade is pushed into my heart, so I die. Is there a way if I just straight up keep going? I stab it. If I scream instead, I still die. Okay, we'll try casting a spell now. We still don't have anything that can make it bright in here, so I have to opt for something else. Like, for example, what if I cast Hot? Or I accidentally hit F. Foff would be a force field. We could try that. Though I guess that kills me because I only had 3 stamina there. Oops. I magicked myself to death. Uh-oh. Excuse me while I open up my bag for a moment. Drinking some bloomberry juice. Checking ape, can't heal yet. We're gonna try casting a force field again. Magic is very draining. Some spells more than others. F-O-F. Cast. Cast a spell binding a force field around your body, but the chill wind of the crypt seems to reach straight through it as if it was not something of this world. I stab that with my sword. I struggle. And I'm still stabbed. Alright, so we have a problem now. I think we kill whatever this spooky spirit is, but then something else pops out to kill me. So I need to figure out what that thing is. Well, alright, here we go. Trying again. Where we keep going. Surely one of these spells will help me out. Will do something for me? I don't know why G's an option if there's nothing else available. S, I can suss. What if there's a trap on... Oh, son, I don't have a stone for that. Son, well, we're gonna try. Huff. I don't think I can cast Huff, because that's wind and that's a gale horn, and I don't have that. So we cast Hot. Or Howl? We'll opt for trying to cast Hot first. However, I'm going to have to drink that Blimberry juice again. I'm clicking the wrong buttons. Items. Magic. Blimberry. Delicious. And then H-O-T. Spells hot, and I set everything on fire. Reveals a ghostly shape hovering in the air just a foot in front of yours, as clawing skeletal hands reaching out. Then the flame vanishes in the cold of the crypt. Can I even do anything against this guy? Is it even this guy that's successfully killing me every time? I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to try casting this final time here the Howl option. Let's see what that does for me. Otherwise, I might have to try getting into a fight with him. Or I might just have to rewind. You cast the spell and wait for a sense of how to proceed. A voice enters your mind telling you that there is no hope for you in the darkness below. Uh-oh. I think I might be fucked. What if I try... Final thing. What if I try fighting? Nope. So I have to just rewind sooner. You may be screwed completely. That's definitely what it seems like. What if I don't go down the stairs? If I run for it, but there almost isn't time. By the time you reach the doorway, the gap is barely a cubit wide and still closing. I go for it. I die! My ribs chopped right down from the stone slab. Well, I just let it close. I just hang around here in the dark. I feel for the door. Well, no door here. Even if there's nothing in here with you, you will soon run out of air. Feel for the stairs. We don't go down the stairs. And all I can do is cast a spell. Well, what spell am I able to cast? I can make my body light. I can cast sap and make something depressed. Is there a reason to cast anything? We can make it even darker in here. Is there a point to making things even darker? Room is already dark, but you cast your spell and make the darkness even deeper? I just hang out here and continuously cast spells. I don't know why I would cast a dot, though. I make my body light. I float in the air. Oh, here's an idea. You cast a spell reducing your body weight to that of a feather. Hopefully, that should prevent you from walking across any more traps. Well, I guess I'll cast Mage, too. Let me just whip out my items again. Alright, here we go. M-A-G. Yeah, basically casting every spell I possibly can here. I'm just casting everything over and over again. I'm like, please, God. What do I do? I cast Sun anyway. I kill myself via magic because I don't know what else to do. Already cast Fog. Already cast Magic. I cast Dop? Ooh. 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 Here we go. That lets me escape, but I didn't manage to get the spell for Shinva at all. So this isn't exactly ideal. Am I able to do anything, or do I just need the Sunstone and able to get down there and get his line? Let me just go back out over here. Where I'm walking into the tome. I go inside Shinva's tome, and I look around and go, maybe I'll just go ahead and leave. Or I wonder if I could straight up cast Fall. I don't recall if that was an option. I guess as I'm leaving, that door's gonna fall regardless. Actually, I guess when I turn around to start leaving, I probably stepped on it right there. If I go back here to So when I enter the tome, I've entered into the tome. Is casting the Fall an option right now? Because now when I'm floating, I won't walk on any traps. So now that I've cast that and I could walk down to the stairs at this point, not triggering the door. However, it's possible that there's nothing I can do against this guy. Do I not have the dagger? Hang on. No, I do have the silver sword, just it's not letting me use it this time. I think I'd be doomed anyway because I was trapped in the exact same case before. So I don't think I can go down the stairs at all. Was the fight an option before, or was it new? It was an option before. What items do you have? Well, the only items that let me cast magic spells that I have are Skullcap Pebble, Potion. I had seen, but not anymore. A Flute. I've got a Compass, Bark, Poison. It's Gold, Silver Sword. And I have Skullcap Pebbles, Flute. So it seems like I'm just maybe fucked for going into Shinva's tome and that I need extra items in order to get down there and get anything? Basically, soft locked from this area. And I don't think there's much of a difference between triggering the trap and then casting Dop, or just straight casting Featherfall, since they cost the exact same amount of stamina. And the door technically remains open after I leave, so doesn't really matter either way. So I guess I'm just leaving the graveyard now. Bye, Shinva. And as I make my way over here, we're at another... Oh, this other well that's over here. This is the one from the sewer. When instead of following the goblins, I could have come over here. I'm gonna pull up the bucket just to see if there's anything in there. You turn the winch on the side of the well, drawing up the bucket from beneath. It comes to the top, filled with clear water. Is this as fresh as the water from the other fountain you tried? Thank God it is. I scoop out a handful of water and taste it. Despite your surroundings, it is fresh and quite clear. Much better for it. I move on. You walk for half an hour through thick trees along a narrowing track until you reach a fork in the road. To the left, the track gets narrower still. To the right, a massive shadow looms, so large it seems as though a colossus has seated itself on the wall in thought. A chill wind blows through you, as though ghosts walked back and forth this way. I checked the compass. You take the compass out of your bag and consult its direction. It bobs around back and forth, then settles towards the imposing shape. Well, looks like we're going to the figure. I look at it. It is a ziggurat, with perhaps 100 steps leading to its apex. Night is drawing in. You should get moving. And so I do. You stand at the base of a towering ziggurat, built from carved stone blocks, each the size of a hay bale. The temple rises higher than the city wall and positioned to catch the first star of evening at its uppermost point, a moment which is just past. I look for an opening. You tilt your head back, looking for an opening, and finally make one out. A small black dot about a third of the way up, but even that is quite some climb. For the less devoted worshippers, a small gargoyle by the steps has an open mouth, ready to accept offerings. Hi, gargoyle. Imagine feeding it money. I should have some meat, and I could just shove some meat into its mouth. The gargoyle is carved in the shape of a small but spiky dog with long claws, sharp horns, and a pointy beard. Its mouth is wide open and its tongue lolls out with a coin-shaped slot at the back of its throat. Well, I guess I'm giving it some money. And it opens its eyelids to reveal 2 crisp and beautiful eyes. Ooh, I look into its eyes. And it healed me. Look at that. Now I'm at 11 out of 19 stamina. I keep going. Thanks, gargoyle. Either this ziggurat was built for giants or ascending is an act of devotion. The next few steps are equally exhausting. You have to throw your pack up first and follow. Well, guess what the time is for if these stairs are made for a giant. Now I am a giant. You cast a spell swelling up 3 times your size. You are now able to run up the stairs. But the scale quickly changes. It seems the builder of the pyramid created an optical illusion, and the later steps are not as high as the lower ones. The change is so gradual that you hardly notice as the spell fades. You reach a halfway point, almost as high as the city wall beyond, and pause to rest. You are halfway up. Friezes of gargoyles and polished metals ring the temple on this level. I look. Oh, you pause to take in the view. From this side of the ziggurat, you can see nothing but the top of the wall and beyond, the gleaming darkness of the marshes of the Bachlands. Hang on. I peek. Let's walk around the north side. Maybe. I don't know if there's much of a difference, but north face, let's go. You move around to the north face. You can see the path ahead, running between wild and overgrown trees. It seems very few people have come this way anymore. The north gate itself is now visible, however, and appears deserted. Then you notice a point of light. A torch has been lit between the trees. I watch the torches. You watch as the torches move through the trees, towards the path. They are making slow progress, but they are moving towards the graveyard, and presumably from there on into the town. That's probably some goblins ready to invade. I climb higher. Oh my god. I'm like still a fraction of the way up. Jesus Christ. Climb for another 20 minutes until you are gasping and panting for breath once more. There's also an opening over here. Opening is guarded by rock sculpture images of unimaginable creatures. Beyond you see a long dark hallway with something large and gleaming at the far end. Okay, let's go in the temple. Look at it. It's so nice in here. You step into the temple. The hollow space amplifies your footsteps. There is written the name of the god who inhabits. It seems that this is the ziggurat for Kurja, the gracious. The gracious. I wait and I listen. You wait for a few heartbeats to see if you have disturbed anything. Nothing happens, and then you catch the tail of a gigantic snake, slithering across the floor and disappearing into a crack in one wall. From markings along its back, it looks highly poisonous. I've been rewinding a lot anyway. I might as well just go inside and fight Snake, huh? I stab Snake greatly. I get bit by Snake. I die by Snake. Oh look, I was able to hit with that hit. Okay, we start with defending. Then I will do pretty good hit. And another hit. Uh-oh. It hit me way more there. And it also poisons me at that point. I wonder if I'm able to Oh, it attacked me that time, huh? I do slight hit. Oh, it's defending? Well, fuck you, Snake. What the hell? I thrust, and I hit him! 2.6 versus my 5.9. I'm more powerful, but I have to defend in order to regain some of my stamina. So then we do big strike. I hit him, defeating him. I lost 4 stamina. Well, now I continue. You wipe your sword clean and wait for the violent echoes of the fight to fade away. The walls are decorated with brightly colored murals depicting scenes from the religious mythology of Care. Fine ornaments and precious metals are set into alcoves along the pews, and rich, woven tapestries cover every surface. A cunning trick of architecture catches the wind past the doorway and creates a constant ethereal humming, as though a crowd of monks sat in permanent meditation inside. What happened to beating the game in 2 hours? You know, I was kind of thinking the same thing. If we were at the exit north gate earlier and weren't like, yeah, saying, whatever your name was, Lorga? We're just going to take your curse and leave. It's potential that that would have been the end of the game at that point, and we would have had the option to end sooner, but yet, here we are. At the far end of the hallway, 4 large stone gargoyles of winged demons watch over the shrine from mounts high up in the eaves, guarding the altar on which a gigantic idol squats, Kurja himself. It is a life-size version of the model of Kurja you saw in the abandoned house yesterday. I approach. You walk up towards the altar. A richly patterned carpet. Something about it gives you pause. Its surface is decorated with wide symbols that seem too deliberate to be accidental. I'm not sure. Do we have any indicator clues of should we be avoiding any of these symbols? Oh look, here it marks now. Sandus was first noble, but now is the king of the goblins. And we know that Shinva's dead. Portal traps, ritual of Kurja. Answer to question, Sarisi. Vic, portal traps, goblin army. Those aren't gonna be helpful. Da-da-da. Yeah, I don't know anything. Well, I look at my stamina. I guess I'll cast a spell. H. Oh, what? Why can't I cast? Oh, I've selected S on accident. That will be that. How is what I want. Tell me. You cast a spell and a voice enters your head, telling you there are 2 exits from the temple. One is behind you and the other is in the floor in front of you. But it does not say long enough to tell you where exactly. Uh-oh, so it is saying that, yeah, there's definitely some holes underneath this carpet that you will certainly fall down if you walk along the wrong area. I avoid the stars. And I fall. What? Oh, I forgot about the Yeah, the portal traps. Does it tell me what the shape of the portal traps are? Nope. I just know that it's protected by a series of portal traps. Back into the sewers. Ha ha. You say, and I laugh as I just casually teleport back. I walk across the circles. Which makes sense anyway, since what are all these other symbols along this carpet on the map but circles? So we approach the altar. Look at him. You stand before the idol, a fat statue set with gems and curious pockmarked features. Above his head is a plaque that bears an inscription. We'll read it. It reads, on Kurja's face you kiss a cross and finish with the lips. For answers to your questions you must not err. Not suspense. You step nervously up the steps until you are below the great statue. As you consider the idol, it is the same as the statuette in the abandoned house, except that had blue dots painted on its 2 eyes, its 3rd eye in the forehead, and on its lips. I guess we'll start by kissing the idol. And if I go in the same order as the note and the like, I would kiss its left eye, the right eye, the forehead, and then his lips. Finally, you lean in low and kiss the idol's lips. As you straighten once more, you see the idol's eyes flick open. A soft voice issues from its mouth. Stranger, you are not of my faith, whispers the god, and yet you have completed my ritual. How can that be? I wouldn't say either I am lucky or I've used my wits, because kind of to an extent, it's that I've just learned how to complete it, because I've read about it before, and have performed it before in a mini-one. So I would say my wits more of than luck. Though that very first time I managed to solve it, that was definitely luck. The god laughed softly. My brother Pashna is the god of thieves and tricksters, but you are in my temple today. I will answer 3 questions if you have questions to ask. You take a moment to think over everything you have learned and not learned about the North Gate spell. You remember when you realized you needed to learn the order of the lines, but you have only learnt very few lines of the spell. Okay. Firstly, if you recall, I really already know the order of the spell lines. So, can you tell me the spell for the gate, please? I cannot tell you the spell. After a long, mysterious pause, only the nobles know. Well, find the rest and the spell will be yours. Thanks. Well, how can I find Lord Mulas? Second noble has been dead for a long time. Although he does not stay dead, he moves around the lower part of the city, a half-decayed, half-animated corpse. So it seems Mulas and Shinva are probably both hanging around in the Fallen Quarter necropolis area. So that's very cool. How can I avoid the portal traps? Know this, the god replies. A portal trap is always disguised, but no matter the disguise, a portal trap is always circular in form. That's not bad to know. Now, he intones, I have a question for you. You have completed my ritual. Do you wish to enter my worship? I place my hand on my chin. Now, I don't want to just go around worshiping any old god. Imagine the god just going, hey dude, want to start worshiping me? And you look over at him and you go, why not? And then you find out it's the god of, say, misfortune or death. And actually, if you worship them, you take a path of evil. And you never wanted to be a bad guy, but now you're trapped. You have no choice. I want to know about the god I'm worshiping first. Kurja seems to almost smile. I am the god of grace, he replies. There are few as generous as I. You know, if I think back to all the times that Kurja has technically helped me out, with like his little mini statue, or like right now as I'm asking him questions, he's been nice and helpful, so alright, sure, I'll enter your worship. Oh, very good, Kurja intones. There's a moment of quiet humming that rolls around the temple until it becomes almost too much to bear. Then a moment later, you feel the god's presence inside you. My aid comes with no price, but there is a condition. You must act graciously enough to receive it. A great sense of well-being floods your body. You turn and head out of the temple door. I think back to that singular person I robbed and that other person I robbed. God damn, it has been so long. I have been pretty much excellent the rest of the time, but not at that point. Well, you are back by the opening in the temple. I guess I'll just continue to be good from now on. Well, I go up to the top of the ziggurat, and I'll go ahead and look at the stars. Yep, my god is just Kurja now. God of grace, he is bountiful, generous, and full of great cheer, but he does not approve of ill will or evil doing. I'm gonna pray right now because I'm low on my stamina, so I pray. With your head tilted back, you can see more stars than you ever have seen in the city. Perhaps you are above the level of the lights and the smog and the dust, or perhaps more stars choose to cluster here around this sacred site. You are a true mage and not a mere sorcerer who knows what spells could weave in a spot like this. Try to fashion a spell. Lean back and look up, trying to recognize the stars from your studies. Z. Come on, Z. God damn it. I was really hoping I would get Z and be able to cast Z, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So I guess here at this point, you'd be able to try out casting some spell of your own choosing. I'm gonna look at my spell book real quick right here. Hang on. Because the main thing I recall is when I was in the fancy wizard's house and he had a bunch of pages and he had that like one upside down L. I don't quite remember what those other symbols were, but that would imply that an L should be first, huh? Zap is the only spell worth casting. Zap? And also Big. Big, very enjoyable spell. But hello there, Bungaloo. In fact, B, I, G, I cast the spell about Bungaloo. Bungaloo grows 3 sizes. I hope your room can accommodate that, or wherever you're at currently. I cast Big on my depression. I feel no difference. It only works on physical forms. Great, hurt, Gert. So, excuse me, but that's why it failed, because it only works on your flesh, not upon your mind. But hello, and welcome to the stream. Well, my PC shall be no more, Bungaloo says, growing larger and crushing it. Rip. No wonder I grew. Just like Bungaloo, now both of them are way too big. I'm gonna try casting Luck. Wazam! You fashion the stars into an alignment, and an enchantment is created. You feel a strange force entering your body, as though you're growing stiff and you begin to shake. Something has happened to you, but what? What effects will it have, and how long will it last? You have found one of the secret spells of the Temple of Kurja. The wind chills you to the bone. Fuck yeah, chat! I apparently completely successfully cast a spell. Luck? Question marks? Maybe lucky? Potentially? Because that's what the spell is like. And most of the other spell names has kind of gone in combination with what it does. And hello there to you too, GLRP, and welcome. I'm going to look at the view. You look out towards the city. In the far distance, you see torches in the woods towards the north gate. Looking back, you see the lights of Care coming on, and the shouts of revelers, drunks, and nighttime thieves. Care has no idea what is coming. And so, I start back down the ziggurat, down by the opening, and I climb back down the steps. We're gonna look at the view one more time. I hear some wolves. We'll wait a little bit. Okay, now we climb down. Get to the fork in the road. I kind of look around and, I notice on the ground stamped with footprints, and in between them the prints of many paws. I wonder if I hadn't waited, if I would have just walked into the fork in the road and oopsies, wolves and goblins everywhere. You walk between the clawing trees and thick bushes. The north gate is finally in sight. You can see its imposing ornately carved wooden doors over the top of the guard huts and low buildings that lie at the end of this road. I look at the guard huts. You pause to watch the guard huts. They seem quite still. One has a hole in its roof. Weed grows through the chimney of another. Are they abandoned? But between here and there is a long road, lined by thick and gloomy trees, a patch of wild forest like you haven't seen since the hills. I go cautiously. You make your way slowly forward, trying to ensure your feet do not crunch too loudly on the gravel. I think back to the footprints of both normal feet, like humanoids, and of wolves, paw prints. Something catches your eye. Movement in the shadows on both sides of the road. Torchlight. I stop and look. Uh-oh. You stop, ducking into the shadows, and watch. Whatever is moving the darkness, there are a lot of them. Then a gleam of moonlight catches one and you see it clearly. A werewolf. You know, I'll remind you that I totally have this silver sword. So I could ready a spell. I could wait for what happens. Because I have that silver blade, I wonder if I could take them out no problem. You open your mind to the patterns of the stars above, but just at the last moment you freeze. One werewolf you could probably defeat with a spell, but suddenly there are more. 10, 20, 30 werewolves pad down from the shadows onto the path, forming an arc in front of you. Let's go ahead and give them a moment. You wait, tensed and ready to run if necessary. Then you notice a man stepping from the tree line beyond. Who goes there? He demands. Friend or foe? Who? Then you are foe. The man laughs softly. With a swift movement of his hands, he gestures to the dogs. They bound forward, two catching your wrists in slavering jaws, holding them tightly but firmly. One flick of my finger, he says, and you'll never lift so much as a fork again. Now give me a straight answer. Are you with us or against us? The figure steps closer, and then you realize you recognize him. He is not a man at all, but a thin and haggard elven. You escaped. A moment later, he recognizes you from your desperate escape from the Red Eyes. Friend, he exclaims. I did. I am quite sure of it. You saved my life. With a moment, the wolves are called off. This is the elven guy that was over in the prison. Look at that, since we didn't abandon him straight up and we helped him out escaping. Oh, friend. My own too, I say, responding, nodding. You too are my friend. The elven nods. But what brings you here? This is dangerous ground to venture through. Vic's wolves gather here tonight to take the city. There are goblins arising near the North Gate too, to be honest. The elven stares at you. You speak the truth? That is important news. Vic must be told. He bows his head. It seems I owe you once again. With that, a flick of his fingers, he disappears into the trees. Oh, hell yeah. Dude, I love this elven. Don't distrust elven, it seems. While they might be mischievous and wacky, they're ultimately good friends if you do not, act violently towards them. And I didn't do so to the elven, so he didn't do so to me. You have reached the North Gate once more. The ground is empty still. The goblins have not yet risen. Off to one side is a well, but there is no other cover. Wasting no time, you stride over to the gate. And now I stand below the enormous doors. I recite the spell. You close your eyes and try to recall the scratched poem in the sewer chamber. By Cruz's grace and Forga's pride. I skip the second line with the one lock, so I go over 2 tumblers deep inside. 'Cause those are the only lines I know. I remember burning a tree full of elven. Oh dear. The elven one survives having slipped away and marks you down on the list of people that the elven now hate. Well, Lorag, looks like we've got a little bit of a problem. Seems you were not successful, the wizard remarks. Will you try again? Nah, I leave. You step back. Your problems are your own. I tried. Look, it's taken me far too long, and I'm no one's servant. Lorag seems to shrink a little from your will. Then, he says, I will help you travel past the wall of care, that you may watch its fires burn from safety and see what your selfishness has wrought. Kurja also not being very happy. There's nothing for me here. You feel Kurja's great presence leaving you, as another takes its place. The wizard. The ghost wizard raises a finger embossed with a green ring and points at you. And then suddenly I am somewhere else. In fact, I'm on the other side of the gate. Finding spell lines was no easy task. No, it's also very time-consuming. The marsh goblins are streaming over the walls in a flood, and from inside the city you hear the raucous celebration of them and their hill goblin cousins. The yard must already be overflowing. You can imagine them pouring down the streets into the north side of Care. From inside, the werewolves bay and howl, taking up the fight. I move on. You turn your back just as the first rooftop leaps into flames. Your own road lies ahead, through the plains of Badubak and on towards Mampang. You remember the words of the Sightmaster Sergeant as you left the outpost settlement. Once you have crossed the city port of Traps, you enter the Balklands. They say that the day and night are controlled by forces other than the sun, and from Pt.2, your progress will be watched. The voice of Lorag echoes in your head as well, calling you coward, traitor, and rogue, and damning you with every step you take. He is your only god now, but he wishes you nothing but ill. To Badubak. See, and so this is how we could have ended the last time before we attempted to get the rest of the spell. We could have just straight left them. Oh, I like it also lists my games of Swindlestone. So here we go. Your journey across Care is complete. In the course of your journey, you rescued an elven from the Red Eyes, destroyed the city port of Care, and your spirit guide was replaced by the soul of Lorag the Wizard. You played 2 games of Swindlestones, winning 1 and losing 1. You completed some magical artifacts, you collected some cloth skullcap, 2 pebbles, 2 bloomberry potions, and a bamboo pipe. Also, you found a bottle of poison and a bottle of bark essence. You are still armed only with your original sword and have no rations and 13 gold pieces and a spell book. And so, the story continues. Well, alright, I save this to the cloud. It gives me the code BOCOFFEE. I guess I'll write that down. Made it through Care, but a little bit cursed. Well, sucks to be them. Here Lorag spent all this time trying to get me through, and he never even thought about the fact, maybe I should ensure they're actually able to learn all of the spell. Okay, let's turn down that music. Alright, and thus, that is the end of part 2. I'm not gonna play through the rest of the parts, part 3 and 4, as they are, I would say, when I had looked at like how long to beat, they're the same length as both of the first 2 parts combined, so that's not going to happen. If you want to know what happens afterward, you can go wild and grab part 3 and 4 and try them yourself. Grab the BOCOFF save file and go out cursed by Lorag. Yeehaw! But that puts an end to this stream for today. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thanks to those who followed, really just VA No Magician, thank you. And thank you for those who have resubscribed. Appreciate it. And a reminder, too, that tomorrow will be... I'm also leaving the screen here so the credits can nicely roll through. Tomorrow is Chat's Choice, so it will be Spirit Farer played co-op with Petri. And in addition to that, of course, since it's the New Year's, I hope everybody has a great 2021, and no, you are going to force the 2021 year to be good this time. This year is going to be great, all right? You grab 2021 and you say, it doesn't matter what comes across, we're going to make it good.
Oh boy, I'm glad I was here for the entire stream. Definitely did not show up at the end.
No, all you need anyway, even if you did show up late, is the ending, because clearly it's never about the journey. It's about how the journey ends. And this is how it ended. Cursed. And so, that means since this is now the end of the game, been 4 hours, we're wrapping up, not swapping to another game. The new emote, the next emote from the channel points, is not going to be made. Hang on, I placed my hand upon my lips. What if instead of doing the intro, we could do the next BTTV emote and have Petri sit in for commentary during that? We'll see. We'll see. So potentially the emote will be done tomorrow also, pre-Spirit Fair. Otherwise, see you tomorrow, next week, at some point. And it's been a hot minute since we've raided Kitty, so how about we go ahead and do that? She's currently playing Dragon Age Inquisition. So let's see. Oh, wait, wrong person. Make sure I'm typing in the right name. There we go. That's the one I want. Kittylicious Official. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming on by to watch. It's appreciated. You're all great. Quality, as I established at the start, too. Farewell.